How's it going? I don't really know how to begin this off. But I didn't really have anything else to do right now, so I thought that I'd talk about this since I'm like, can't think about much else right now. How's it going? How's everyone doing? Yeah, I honestly don't really know how to begin this off, so I guess I'll let the chat kind of lead this a little bit if anyone like has anyone that any questions or anything, I guess. I guess one thing that I saw recently, like I literally just made a video on it like right before I went live, basically. Um, that I hadn't really considered this before, but tons of kids are basically living in the trucks in winter, in Canadian winter, which is very cold. And I know firsthand how uncomfortable and cold and not suitable for a child that is to live in a truck or a car in winter in Canada. Um, so that makes me very uncomfortable. And another thing also in one of the I was watching like a whole bunch of lives basically to try and get like an idea of what's going on, and one of the speakers that was speaking at the very end was just like, oh, and by the way, make sure you keep your close eye on your kids because we lost a couple kids last weekend, and I still don't actually know if they found the kids or not. It was not clear. It was very ambiguous, and I don't know. And I'm a little bit concerned, to be honest. So that things like that worry me a little bit. Like, are they okay? Oh, gosh, I need more coffee. I tried to scooch my table a little bit closer, but I have like a lamp on it, and the cable only goes so far. A kid got frostbite? Oh, man. I mean, honestly, yeah, with how cold it is. Man, that sucks. Yeah, like, yeah, like, I just feel bad for the kids that are involved that are in the middle of this, that it's just like, they they don't really get much of a choice but to kind of go along with whatever their parents are doing. I'm sure that their parents aren't giving them a whole heck of a lot of choice in going to these protests with them, and or at least not giving them much of an informed choice per se necessarily. And yeah, I saw in a lot of the lives I saw there was a lot of kids running around even after the announcement I saw at their own event, at their own thing, about the fact that they lost multiple kids. Like, hey, keep a closer eye on your kids. Tons of kids running around that I'm like, I don't know who the parent is. Is there any parent that's keeping a close eye on them? I don't know, not that I can see. Just like I saw multiple kids just kind of running around back and forth in front of the strangers' lives, and I'm like, who's watching anyone making sure they're okay, okay. Mm. Mm, yeah, I noticed that a little bit in the lives too. I was watching a live video from the police crackdown last night, which honestly, from what I saw in that live, anyways, uh, compared to other protests, I didn't see excessive force being used in anywhere like the other, like many other protests that I've seen, and I've posted a few examples in recent TikToks of kind of what I'm talking about there. Yeah, and in some of the and in that live of all of the police coming in to I guess confiscate some of the fuel. And somebody even like in the live confronted the police officer and asked um, uh, sorry, just trying to do my best to remember it like word for word, so I don't get like mixed up here. But basically, as the cop, like, so I've heard multiple kind of mixed reports. What are you guys doing? Are you taking like food and stuff? And they're like, we're just seizing fuel. And from what I could hear from the live, it was a little bit hard to hear everything because there's a lot of like honking and stuff in the background, and a lot of just kind of engine noise, just general kind of engine noise. Um, uh, from what I could hear, they said they were just seizing fuel. I haven't actually seen anything of them seizing food, and it looks like the protesters still have like a lot of like food and stuff set up on like tables and things like that. Um, and oh shoot, I'm losing my train of thought. I forgot how where I was kind of leading to with that. Um, oh shoot, maybe it'll come back to me. I need more coffee, clearly. Yeah, the in the live he was like saying that they were dressed up in like riot gear, and I was like, mm, I don't know if I'd really even call that necessarily riot gear compared to some of the other riot gear I've seen, but I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that also counts as riot gear and it's just not as intense, but I've definitely seen like more intense riot gear, so I was a little surprised to hear that called riot gear. Most of them were mainly just wearing like vests with like a lot of pockets and stuff on it. Um, I think I saw like one single person carrying some sort of a big thing. I'm not sure exactly what it was. If it was like one of those big beanbag guns, or if it was like, I honestly don't know like what it was exactly. I'm not very good with like guns and things like that, so I can't say if it was like actually a gun or if it was something else. Um, but yeah, I only saw like one person holding something like that, and overall the vibe really seemed to be like that the cops were being very peaceful with the protesters, which I have not seen as much of at some other protests, I'll just say. And um oh, there was somewhere that I was going with that, and I just totally lost my train of thought. Oh shoot! This is why this is hard to do live sometimes, because sometimes I have ADHD. Sometimes I lose my train of thought, and then it takes a little bit for it to kind of come back to me. So sometimes it's easier when I'm like thinking and like got like some notes or something, or like some ideas of what I want to do, and like make it into like sort of a video format. Um, but yeah, doing my best to do kind of all of this off of the top of my head. Uh, Let me see if I can catch up with the chat a little bit here. I didn't see the automatic weapons at the live stream that I was watching, but again, I have only watched so many of the live streams, but yeah, the live stream that I saw, I didn't see like the excessive force being used on the same level that I've seen at many other protests. And yeah, the the video that I just recently saw was basically the police confirmed that part of the reason why their approach has been so kind of like they haven't really had much pushback from the police yet until this point is apparently because of the children that are living in these trucks now. So that's a very worrying angle to me, honestly. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of projection going on with a lot of things, with a lot of some of the rhetoric that I've heard spread, and just the way that they keep spreading the rhetoric that anyone that's pro-vaccine is basically trying to kill your children, or vaccines are killing children, etc., etc., like all the people that are saying that kind of stuff. But then they're endangering their own children by having them live in vehicles in the middle of winter when they could be living in a home. Odd choice to make. very worrying choice to make. I mean, I'm not a parent, but not a choice I would ever make as a parent in that situation. To have my kids, like, live in a car, like, yeah. Am I far from Ottawa? I'm in BC at the moment, but I've been watching like tons of live streams and doing my best to try and kind of figure out what's going on from as many different sources as possible. And honestly, this is a little bit kind of part of that research, which is why I decided to try and have like a little bit of a conversation about it and maybe hear some opinions from other people as well. And like, yeah, kind of talk about this sort of stuff a little bit more. So you retain your rights. Okay, so do you agree with the point that I'm making then that everyone deserves to have the same freedom to protest? And up until now, the police response to different protests is not equal. Even the police response to the counter-protesters of the convoy itself, like there was some counter-protesters in Vancouver that were literally just sitting on the road in front of the trucks, blocking the road from the truckers in the same way that the truckers are blocking off the roads for everybody else, except they were literally just sitting on the road instead of blocking it off with all of their vehicles and honking like crazy. They were just blocking it off by sitting, and I believe some of them also had bikes. And the police removed the protesters, like multiple cops per protester, physically picking them up and carrying them off the road, physically removing them. Like, some people were even arrested, but then later released. So, did they actually commit a crime? Or were they just removed from the protest? Like, one of the arrest reports basically said that, that the counter-protester was arrested because of the potential that he might incite onlookers. Which, honestly, what does that mean? Incite onlookers to do what exactly? It was left very vague. And based off of all of the context, and based off of some of the RCMP's reaction to other protests in the past, the direction that feels like it's going is that incite onlookers to join the counter-protest and to start doing the same thing, to also start resisting, like, the truckers and the honking and the fact that they were going to block off the hospital. And they've actively been making it harder for, like, ambulances and stuff to get through. So yeah, I guess just my point is, like, where's the freedom for the counter-protesters to sit on the road and have their freedom to protest, but the police are actively helping block off roads for the convoy? That's what doesn't make any sense to me. Why aren't Indigenous people allowed the freedom to protest, to protect forests on their own lands that, by Canadian law, they have a right to stop clear-cutting on their own lands, and technically the RCMP are actually breaking Canadian law by going in and arresting them with excessive force. So, if this is about rights and freedoms, where's that same energy for that? Where's is it for everybody's rights and freedoms, or is it only for the rights and freedoms if they agree with you? So, I agree that you have the right to protest. Why doesn't everybody have that same right to protest? But also at the same time, let's maybe not put children in harm's way for the sake of a protest and do stuff that actively harms people? Yeah. These protesters will be the reasons recovery will take longer. Yeah, honestly, with all of the people, like, gathering up into a crowd, not wearing masks, all screaming in each other's faces, like, I know that they're outside, but still, I wouldn't be surprised if cases go up again. And that's another big question, is like, if we get rid of the mandates, if we get rid of all the restrictions, if we just sit back and do nothing to prevent the spread of this pandemic, then honestly, what is the plan? Our healthcare system is already overrun. What is the plan for our already overrun healthcare system? And like, there is also some blame on that to be put on the government for not investing more in our healthcare system so that we can actually handle an increased number of cases, and invest more in doctors and nurses, pay them more, maybe make college free so that more people can actually afford to go to school to become doctors and nurses in the first place. But at the moment, with how overrun our healthcare system is, what is the plan if we just sit back and do nothing and let everybody get sick? We already don't have the capacity in our healthcare system for the level we're at right now, even trying to do something. And I mean, there's certainly a few aspects in which I think the government could have certainly handled this better. There's a lot of ways in which they've also kind of messed up the response too, in that, like, they kind of half-assed the shutdowns and stuff, like, sort of shut down, but then also keep, like, restaurants and malls and stuff open, like, because economy and whatnot. So, yeah, it's very complicated, and I just, yeah, the creators of, like, the GoFundMe for, like, and the convoy and stuff like that, the Canada Unity that's, like, behind it, that started this whole thing, the memorandum that they have of what their goals are with this entire convoy that they have organized is to undemocratically remove basically all of our top elected officials. Oopsies, I'm gonna spell this. Basically all of our top elected officials from their legal positions. So that is very concerning to me. And it seems like their response is to then put in their own guy, but what about everybody else's right to vote? So how is that democratic exactly? To just kick every single person out of office who doesn't agree with every single one of your goals and everything that you want and all of your opinions? That does not sound like democracy to me, and that's not really something that I can get behind. Invest in a trip to Ottawa. That's complicated. Oh, I can't even take the time off work right now. Children are part of the population. What is that in response to? Them being put at risk by people having their children sleep in trucks in Canadian winter? And cars? Outside? I have lived in a car outside in Canadian winter. It fucking sucks. Not a proper environment for children at all. If you care about children, you would not be subjecting them to that if you have any option of any other place to stay. If you are willingly choosing to leave your home and go somewhere else and have your children sleep in a car like that, when you have other options, you have a roof over your head that you can go sleep at, and you're choosing to have your children sleep in a vehicle in the winter, that's not okay. Like, you're putting those children at risk. I got really sick from the time that I spent sleeping in a vehicle in Canadian winter, because it's cold. It's not a suitable environment for anybody, let alone children. Especially not children. My God. Someone said, I'm in Ottawa and have been to the convoy. It's a hostage situation with a flag. I mean, it basically, they're basically holding the city hostage until they get what they want. And at least part of the goals of the convoy are to remove our democracy in Canada. What they're asking with this removing of elected officials, like, the way that they're going about it, basically, like, maybe, let's say, if they were asking for everybody to vote again, like, hold another election, I don't know, maybe I could get more behind that or something. I could imagine if we held an election right now, I'm willing to bet there's a much better chance that Trudeau would lose. I mean, I've never voted for him. I don't understand, honestly, myself, how he won the last election. It's not like I personally agree with the guy. I just don't agree with the way that this is going about it. I still think they have the right to protest, but then I have to ask, why doesn't everybody else get that same freedom to protest? Why is the response so different? Oh... Our healthcare system is overrun by design, health for profit. It's complicated. It's like, to an extent, there's some truth to that. Like, the medicine is good. The greed around letting people die if they can't afford the medicine, that's the part that's messed up. That's the part that's twisted. Oh... They want freedom. It's in the name of the movement. Okay, that does not address the point that I brought up about why does everybody not get that same freedom to protest. They are currently exercising their freedoms by traveling across Canada to go to Ottawa to protest. Very loudly. Very disruptively. Blocking off tons of streets. Setting off fireworks. Which, by the way... Black Lives Matter protests in Montreal got tear-gassed for setting off fireworks. The response is not equal. Democracy isn't what you think it is. So you think removing our democracy entirely is the answer? You think taking away everybody's right to vote? Everybody's right to have a say in who our elected officials are, not just the people who agree with your specific agenda? That doesn't sound like freedom to me. I'll still defend the fact that you still deserve to have the right to vote, even if I personally disagree with your point of view. How can you say you're for freedom if you are against everybody having the same freedom, if you are against that freedom for actually being for everybody? You repeat the media's narrative. Okay, then actually tell me why I'm wrong. Instead of just going, oh, you're just doing this, you're just doing this, oh, here's a little insult. Tell me why I'm wrong then. Explain it to me. Back up your point. Yeah, and to my understanding, you still have a choice. It's that hasn't really been taken away. You still have the choice to say no. I still have unvaccinated family members that have not been vaccinated, and yet they still have a job. They can still go to work. They can still make money. They can still go to a grocery store. They can still hang out with their friends. They can still go on road trips to other cities. So, it seems more like what's being asked is freedom from the consequences of your decisions. Talking for hours without any personal observation. As I've already said, this is just my own opinion, and I've been spending basically all week watching tons of live streams, because I haven't been watching very much of the actual news. I've mainly been watching a lot of live streams to actually get an idea of what's going on, what is this protest itself actually saying. A lot of what I'm talking about, it's come from the actual protest itself. Like, I looked into the organizers of the event, the organizers of the GoFundMe, the people that kind of started this. It's not actually hard to look into. If you look up under Canada Unity, the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding or something like that, it's right on basically like the first page. They basically want to remove all of our top elected officials, including the entire Senate, from their lawfully elected positions. Every single one that does not agree with their entire agenda, basically, with their entire memorandum, with all of their goals. That is their goal, that is their end goal, and that does not sound to me like democracy. Yeah, every citizen has a right to protest, so why aren't the counter-protesters allowed their same right to protest? Why are counter-protesters constantly being removed? Yeah, businesses closed because of protests. You know, it's really funny to me that you keep saying how the media is distorting, the media is distorting, the media is distorting. Yet, listened to all of the negative things the media said about Black Lives Matter. Interesting. Democracy is a trick? Oh, okay, so you want a dictatorship instead? That's your answer? And dozens of businesses damaged in the convoy in Ottawa, somebody commented. They are stealing the freedom of Ottawa citizens and holding them hostage for their own freedom. Damn, and even emergency vehicles and shit. Like, I tried to ask in one of the live videos, like, how exactly are ambulances supposed to get through? Oh, we'll make space for them. Then why am I seeing videos of ambulances unable to get through the protests? And also, all of the tents and stages and stuff they've got set up, and the amount of trucks, like, there's no way an ambulance is, like, how are they supposed to get an ambulance through there? There's no plan. Somebody said earlier, I think, that they're, like, well organized or something. Are they, though? Because they have absolutely no plan for emergency vehicles getting through. That doesn't sound very organized to me. Nobody is physically forcing you to get a needle. Exactly, yeah. Nobody's holding a gun to your head and forcing you to get it. Like, nobody's throwing you in jail if you don't get it. That's not happening. God, and even, like, all of the measures put in place, it's all just temporary, just till we get through the pandemic. If this was still ongoing long after we beat COVID and there was no threat of any kind anymore, but that's not the case. That's not the current situation. That is not the current reality. Currently, our healthcare system can't take us just suddenly sitting back and doing absolutely nothing. Like, can anybody answer me what the plan is for the overrun healthcare system? when there's, like, already people having major surgeries postponed and stuff like that because hospitals are so overrun with COVID cases that we don't have the resources to deal with everything all at once. Oops. I seem a little bit slowly falling behind on the chat, but I'm doing my best to kind of catch up here. They're so organized. Amazing. Then why have I seen footage of ambulances unable to get through? That's not very organized.
I think what they mean is mobilized. They're mobilized. They're doing stuff.
I guess so. So is that just it? Do counter protesters and indigenous protesters and Black Lives Matter, we just needed more numbers? We just needed to hold down the city even more? We just need to block more roads? Is that the answer? Is that what we needed to do? Every business the government touches turns to shit. Okay.
Sure, there's no nuance in that statement.
Yeah. My God. It's not like the government, like, props up mega corporations and constantly bails out, like, banks and billionaires and gives, like, all of the tax credits and benefits to all of the mega corporations and the 1% of the 1% while everybody else is struggling.
So yeah, in that idea, governments are touching businesses and it's helping them because they get subsidized by the government.
Yeah, just governments are mainly just helping the big mega corporations instead of the small businesses as much.
I'm curious what that person means about, like, what businesses are they talking about that the government touches that they ruin? I would like to know.
Yeah. I mean, you can't have any business without the government having a hand in it. So... like, you have to go and get permission to even, like you have to, like, register that with the government and shit. Like, you have to do paperwork and stuff. You can't just have a business and not have the government involved in any sense at all. So by your logic, if every business the government touched turned to shit, every business in existence that we currently have, present day, would be shit. Is that, am I following? Oh, the irony in that statement, as you're fighting me, as I'm trying to have a discussion about this. It's a political manipulation to separate us so we don't fight together for our freedom.
Well, I mean, that's true.
Yeah. Oh, so they always love people making, like, $20 and $30 an hour to be hating on the people that want to raise minimum wage to a living wage so that we don't look at all of the billionaires.
I'm almost ready. Just get you back.
When you need subsidies, you are dependent. Huh? So, are you saying that mega corporations are dependent on the government? Because
oh, wow.
they get subsidies?
Yeah, they get tons of subsidies from the government, so they're super dependent.
Yeah, so I guess mega corporations are all dependent on the government?
Yeah. Oh, those poor corporations.
Oh, those poor billionaires.
No.
Oh,
We
those
gotta
poor
really think about
billion-dollar
them.
corporations.
We really have to be looking out for their feelings.
Yeah. Oh, those
They
poor...
might have to sell one of their yachts.
Oh.
That's gonna hurt their
Oh.
image. They're not gonna be able to have a little fleet for their photo up. Oh. It's too bad.
That's so sad.
What can we do?
Those billion-dollar corporations
is there anything
dependent
else?
on the government are just hurting so bad. We just have to defend them so bad.
Is there any other social programs we can get? Is there any other societal thing that costs money that we can completely remove that benefits society? Is there anything else we can just give away to them? They deserve it.
So the billion-dollar corporations can benefit more.
They absolutely deserve it, yes.
Oh, God. I gotta be honest, I don't know too much about what Quebec is doing with alcohol or the lottery. I'm in BC, so I honestly don't know too much about what's going on in specifically Quebec.
Ooh, someone's saying something about Quebec?
Example, in Quebec, alcohol is under government control. Hydro-Quebec, Lotto-Quebec, healthcare.
Isn't in BC the same thing? Don't we have BC Lotto and BC Liquor?
In BC Hydro?
Wait. No.
And ICBC?
You know what? Now that I think about it, I think we used to have BC Liquor, but now that's not a thing.
Is BC Liquor not a thing anymore?
I might be old.
I do remember BC Liquor.
Yeah. But now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, but is it still a thing?
I don't even know.
More research must be done into liquor. So I guess this person is making the case that government regulation of certain things is not cool. But maybe they could elaborate on that, of like why, like what specifically the government does that makes it bad. Like, just because they run it doesn't make it bad. Like, do they mismanage it? Are they blind to the reality of the environmental situation of the business? Like, what do they do that's bad? Please elaborate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because sweeping generalizations are annoying. Just, you're bad, okay, believe me, because reasons.
Yeah, because I said so, okay? Because freedom, lol.
Lol.
Sorry. So we only buy local, we're dependent of international corporations. If we are not independent, we are dependent. We must produce our own. Okay, but then you're never gonna have another banana again, pineapple, chocolate, there's a lot of, like, minerals, like heavy earth minerals and stuff, that are imported. Most of your electronics, yeah, there's a lot of shit that you kind of have to import. So, if your goal is to not do anything internationally anymore, not have any international trade of any kind anymore, not have any international anything anymore, you do realize that's what you're giving up, right? If you need government to thrive economically on a personal level, you are dependent. International level? You're saying to be independent. Okay, my brain's having a hard time here for a second. Oh, I need more coffee. I don't know, Steo, do you have any thoughts while I think? Steo?
Tacos are amazing.
Tacos are amazing?
Yeah. That's a thought.
Oh, yes it is. Thank you.
Hamburgers are a close second. And then, lasagna.
Why are you white? Are you what? Someone just came in and asked, why are you white?
Nobody's white. White is just merely a construct invented by some crazy motherfuckers in North America to basically get poor people to subjugate poor people. And to help build America. That's another thing. But I forget the whole documentary I saw on that, but but yeah, it's invented. If you actually look in people's DNA, there's a lot going on there, so no one's just this white. So, it's a stupid thing to say. Why are you white? If anything, we're all off-white.
If I wasn't in hospital, I'd join you. I'm not sure what you mean, but I hope you mean that in a positive way. Like, join me on live? Thank you? Separate us, lose cultural identity, be easily manipulated. His grandson is founder of Netflix. Whose grandson?
Some interesting thoughts there. Might want to flesh them out a little bit more.
Flesh them out a little more, yeah.
Yeah. Like, what? What? Netflix? Wait.
Yeah.
Like, that ended in a place that I did not expect.
Wait, when did Sigmund Freud come up? Okay, apparently Sigmund Freud's grandson is the founder of Netflix.
Did you know?
Yes, that relates to this current conversation.
The more you know.
The more you know. Better pop on my tinfoil hat to protect from the mind control. Oh, noes. He advised presidents. Sigmund Freud or the grandson? I don't know what's going on anymore. I think we lost the plot. And his grabbed son of Bernays is founder of Netflix. These are facts. I don't know what's happening anymore, but I don't know how any of this relates to the convoy. Oh, and I'm not 100% sure what you're trying to say either. Oh. I'm still not sure what you're saying. Love the squishmallows. Oh, thank you! All the squish. Ooh! I almost spilled my coffee. That was close. I'm glad I didn't. Squish. I need the comfort of squish to help me get through this. Ugh. It was a continuation of his thought that the make us lose culture to replace with digital identity. I don't know. Steve, do you know what that means? What they're trying to say?
Are they trying to say that the fact that we've now put everything online we're losing culture? Or
is that it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe. What do you mean?
Yeah. What's the angle?
Yeah.
Birds aren't real.
That is absolute fact. There's no nuance in the birds ain't real argument. Next question. I'm joking, by the way. There's plenty of nuance.
Also, the moon's not real. Just kidding.
No, the moon's real. It's just a giant satellite with aliens in it, as old as time. Anyways, it's like a Death Star.
Or are you in the middle of stuff?
What's that?
Do you want to join me, or are you in the middle of stuff?
In one more second.
One more second? Okay.
But I'm getting warmed up here, as you can see.
Yay!
I need to grab the puppet.
Oh, yeah, good idea.
Because, they've got to make their first cameo.
Yeah! Is the puppet cameo? Alright, well, while Steo gets ready to come join us and grabs the puppets and everything, does anyone else have any thoughts or anything? Or any comments or questions or anything to add? I'm just gonna keep on trying to ramble, I guess, until I get more input and know what to do next. I have many thoughts and ideas, but this is hard to do live. Oh. Love your flags. Oh, thank you! I hate the convoy, but there has been a lot of change provincially. What is some of the change that's happened? Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Quebec are easing restrictions. Yeah, I'll have to look more into that. I haven't really actually heard much about that specifically yet, so I'll try and make a note of that, actually. There's something to write down so I don't forget, so I can remember to look into this stuff later. I mean, I'm probably gonna rewatch this live again after, but where's my notebooks? There's my notebooks. 1 second. Pen. I just need a pen. Of course, I've got everything but that. Yellow. Doesn't really help much. There we go. Let's see. That should work. Things to look into afterwards. Alright, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Quebec easing restrictions. Oh my god, I'm tired. I just put a G instead of a Q. Quebec. Quebec. Oh god. Q. So yeah, this is kind of like, in a way, also a little bit of research as well to like look into later and stuff, and get more of an idea of like what other people are saying, if there's maybe stuff that I missed that I didn't hear about yet. Because yeah, I'm doing my best to get as many different sources on this as possible. Oh, Steve's got the puppets! Get as many different lives as possible, or watch as many different lives as possible, I mean, to get an idea of what's going on, and there's a lot. It's hard to stay on top of it all, honestly.
How do I squish it?
Squishy.
Ooh.
Alright, so thing for me to look into later, somebody said Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Quebec are easing restrictions.
Yes, that just happened.
Oh.
I got that as part of the little roadmap that I've been mapping out.
Oh, while you were at work?
Yeah.
Oh! You must have heard it while I was getting ready to go live.
Also, massive blockades in Alberta now.
Oh.
Yeah, so, like, Alberta's basically, like, thrown their big hat in the ring, and there's big, massive blockades, like, chopped wood, and, like, trucks, and, like... It kind of reminds me of, you know, Standing Rock? How that looked?
Except they're not being met with water cans?
Not yet. But Jason Kenney just was like, kinda, can you please stop? Like, now he's already like, I used restrictions while you protested. Which is weird, because it's like, they've eased restrictions. So why is there now a blockade in Alberta? Discuss.
Yeah, that's interesting. Alright.
So is it basically...
Alberta will have everything gone by March. A little bit older of a comment. So yeah, why are they cracking down hard with the protests in Alberta then, if they're...
Well, they're not cracking down hard. They're...
I mean, like the protest is cracking down hard, not that they're cracking down hard on the protests. I fumbled my words there a little bit.
I would use the language of they are being part of the protest now. They've added to the protest. They're not...
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I've heard things previously of them blockading stuff to make it hard to get between Alberta and BC, but I hadn't heard about that specifically yet.
Okay.
I know Tool getting kicked out. Yeah, that was a whole thing too.
Yeah. So all right. So meet our political commentators. We've got the Owl. I'm not sure the Owl's political affiliation, but he might be the centrist. You know, he sees all, so he sees it from every perspective. He's like, I can see everybody's point. It's going to be a character in the show. He's a puppet. Not sure if we've got a name for him either, but he's like, oh, I'm really worried about the state of our world. Oh. I think it would be more entertaining. Like, I think people are kind of sick of politics as normal. We need to have the centrist Owl.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, I dropped my pen. Okay. Next, we've got the LGBTQ llama. I think that would be perfect. You know.
Or alpaca. Steve.
Or Steve the... alpaca, sorry.
Yeah.
Everything to me is a llama.
Steve. Everything to me is a llama.
Well, you got 35 new messages.
Yeah, I have a little...
Yeah, international borders being blocked in court. Or, international border being blocked. See, this is how it works. It'd be the llama doing this. Yes. That owl listens to Rogan. Yes, the owl would definitely be Joe Rogan's buddy. Actually, the owl kind of looks like Rogan. All right, so we got the centrist owl. We got the LGBTQ alpaca. I'm thinking this will be the conservative cow.
Okay.
This is an adorable conservative cow.
Oh, someone's inviting us to go live together. Should we do it?
I'm not sure.
Shoot, I was too slow.
At the moment.
I've never tried it before.
This is all new to me.
Yeah, this is new.
But I am introducing the puppet, so give us a second. So we got the conservative cow here. Not sure. Maybe Kayla the conservative cow. and they'll champion conservative issues as they see it. They'll probably be more of a moderate, but depending on how depressed Kayla is.
Or should we just leave it at conservative cow so that no Kayla's take any offense?
Oh, yeah. Karen, this conservative cow?
Oh, there we go. Karen, the conservative cow.
There we go.
My brain is really slow today.
It's cute, but, like, I don't know. It could be interesting. Someone else makes the string glitchy.
Oh no!
Well, I don't know. Yeah, this is my first time being online, but
Wi-Fi has been a little bit slow today. I wonder what's up with that.
I've only got a lot of weird internet disruptions lately.
Oh wow!
I think it's got something to do with the convoy.
Yeah, I saw something about Bell having a ton of outages, which of course is who I'm with.
And then we got the teddy bear. I guess he will be the leftist. He'll be the progressive. And yeah. Teddy's been around for a very long time. This teddy bear is really dear to me. And he's always been considerate about the issues.
No.
And he was in a TV show, one episode called Just Breathe. And it was an attempt to do political stuff. And yeah. According to the convoy, the Wi-Fi will be taken out in Ottawa and possibly all of Canada. Now
that's going to be really fucked up if they do that.
Well, yeah. So like that. So the interesting thing about this whole convoy is not necessarily what these protesters do, but what the government does in response. Because there is still a charter in Canada. The one thing that these protesters, the one leg that they do have is they're like, rights though. They still exist. There's a document.
Yeah, so we also have the freedom to protest. It's really been becoming more and more clear, especially in recent years, with the more that everybody has a camera ready to go to actually record all of these events, so you can actually see video footage of it all. It's becoming more and more clear that the police response to, like, this protest has not been equal to a lot of other left-leaning protests that have been going on in the past. So that's the response has already brought up many questions.
Yeah, I'm not sure what, like, disrupting the internet throughout the country would do other than to maybe stop it from, like, chain reacting. Maybe that's what they're worried about. But I don't know. I just feel like
yeah, everyone's still going to have the video.
Step too far.
Everyone's still eventually going to share the video whenever the internet comes back on.
It would probably play into their hands and radicalize more people to the cause instead of, like, de-escalate things. What would probably de-escalate the whole thing is a nuanced conversation with the organizers, which I know he doesn't want to do. But if he literally, talked to them...
Yeah, Trudeau just not actually responding to anything isn't helping.
Thankfully,
not a fan of Trudeau either.
I do believe our protests are nowhere near as violent and what happened to... Yeah, so thus far it is not violent, and there's just the potential of violence, and one of the main, interestingly, one of the main reasons why the protest hasn't been violent so far, one of the major differences is the size of it. So you got tons of people joining in. The patriotism involved, so that's kind of stunned everyone. That always stuns people, shocks people. The fact that there's these big trucks involved, it's essentially like rolling in tanks. If you think about it, just massive tanks.
Yeah, in one of the lives I was watching, one of the trucks literally looked like somebody brought an armored truck.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck?
So logistically that starts to get really difficult. There's not enough tow trucks, so that's a major difference. And then what was the last thing? Oh yes, the fact that there's children at the protests.
Yeah, children sleeping in the vehicles when it's really cold out. Somebody commented earlier that, which another thing for me to look into further as well to find like if there's news report on it. Somebody said that a child's reportedly already gotten frostbite. So,
oh, man.
Yeah, so they're putting children in harm's way while there's speakers saying that anybody who wants to vaccinate children is the one killing and putting children in harm's way, basically.
Yeah, nobody wants...
like, very extreme rhetoric to the point that they're literally screaming, they're killing our children! Like, stuff like that. So it's like, yeah. But then that...
Yeah, so yeah, you start to crunch the numbers and you can see why they're like, what do we do? Oh no. And like I heard they put in a request for 1,800 more police,
Mm.
and people in New York, tow companies in New York are getting calls for help for tow trucks. So there might be just a massive, like
Damn.
absolutely crazy ass operation about to be underway.
Mm.
Overway.
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 Yeah, one of the news reports, it was basically saying that it's a logistical nightmare for them trying to figure out how to actually get all of these trucks out of the city.
But they might actually go that direction because, as far as I can tell, I think they would rather do that than have a conversation. They would rather probably do a strongman thing and do a show of force instead of actually talk.
I mean,
It's a guess. It's a
that's what
guess.
they do with other protests, and until now they've been so much more peaceful in response to this protest than many other protests in the past.
The tow trucks don't want to even try to get the semis out, don't want to endanger business. Rich ships. I'm not sure what a rich ship is. What's a rich ship? Rich
Business richips?
Bus-
Friendships?
Rich ships?
You don't know?
But anyway, yes, tow trucks and yeah.
So yeah, if basically... So, do other protests, like, do they just need bigger numbers?
Yeah, basically. Well, what what are other protest movements doing right now? Is just everyone's watching this to see how this goes down? If another protest movement operates at the exact same time as this one, are they afraid of being associated? No, I guess that would be bad. I guess maybe that's why they don't like all join together or something.
Yeah, it's frustrating that it's like there are human rights being violated in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
It's just frustrating that there's a lot of extremist elements in this movement, and in a lot of things they're going after the wrong things. What their goals are, what they're asking for, is not going to fix the issue, and it's not tackling the human rights abuses of everybody, only going after, like, the mandates and undemocratically kicking people out of office and replacing them. So I guess our right to vote isn't as important. Yeah.
The convoy
Yeah.
wants to martyr themselves and then claim credit for the mandate changes that were going to happen. Well, I mean, they're really desperate for a win.
Yeah.
They've been doing protests for a while. I think they were part of the Yellow Vest movement.
Yeah, there was like some connection there with the organizers.
Yeah. And so basically, whenever there's a protest movement, these guys kind of latch onto it. So, and also, it's interesting that um, actual truckers' unions in Canada have denounced the movement and said it doesn't represent them. So, if this honestly represented truckers, why aren't any of the unions like behind them?
Yeah, that's a good question too.
And there's interesting what's yeah, there's an interesting connection there where there's like actual issues for truckers that exist, but they're not being championed by this movement. So if this was actually a movement for truckers by truckers, why isn't it championing truckers' issues?
Yeah.
Because the mandates wasn't the issue. Wage theft, long hours, low training, being underpaid,
Yeah,
immigration issues.
that totally reminds me of a thing I saw a while ago talking about the fact that there was like this big thing that came up about because of the long hours and the working expectations and stuff, that basically truckers were driving extremely sleep deprived, which is super, super dangerous. Being sleep deprived impairs you. I I think almost as much, if not as much, as alcohol does, basically, in some cases. Like, sleep deprivation can impair you a lot, depending on the level of sleep deprivation. And yeah, I've heard nothing about any of that, about truckers being forced to work to the point that they're driving extremely sleep deprived to fulfill the working requirements of the job. None of that's been brought up. Higher working wages, a livable minimum wage. Why isn't all of that stuff also part of this if it's for the truckers?
Oh, we got a couple of messages here.
Oh.
We got, why would the concentration camps for unvaccinated have been built if this was set up to go away? So that's an interesting thing. So about 10 years ago, story time with the owl. Okay.
Yeah, I'll let you take this one.
All right. So about 10 years ago, I had a very similar sort of thought on FEMA camps. The whole FEMA sort of camp thing in the United States, that was something that was going around at the time. And I was like, oh my God, look at these buildings with the fences and the places for people and the body bags. And it's like, oh my God, what the hell are these places? Why would you build such a building? And so looked at, and it was really kind of creepy, right? And you just start to think about it like, oh man. I talked to a lot of people about it, and then they basically said that, like, essentially when things get bad like this, you have to sort of separate people and keep them in, like, it's kind of like to the akin of what they had to do in medieval times. Like, lockdowns literally had people locked in their homes. Someone would go around and just lock them in their homes and keep them separate from society. That's how much they were separated from people in, like, the bubonic plague and stuff like that. Like, when there was literally bodies in the streets and like the worst of the worst case.
Yeah, so honestly, when we say lockdown, relatively.
Yeah, so anyway, so FEMA camps, there was, I think there was, like, the United States was like, oh my God, there's going to be climate change. There's going to be a lot of chaos. There's going to be, like, people getting sick. There's going to be, environmental destruction and all this stuff. We need these buildings built to put people and to stash people in case of disasters and plagues and whatever that they were anticipating about 10 years ago. And so now 10 years later, hey, what do you know? We've got a massive, it's not plague status, but it's like...
Yeah. I mean, a fair question would be why we don't house homeless people so that they have a roof over their head so that they get shelter as well.
It's just it's a very particular narrow planning. And the weird thing is they make these places really comfortable. Like, if it's a concentration camp, it's not like what you'd think historically a concentration camp would be, because it's like got beds and, like, accommodation, you got entertainment, it's really nice, like, people check in on you, it's really hospitable.
Honestly, if millions of people are suddenly displaced by a natural disaster, climate change, things like that, any kind of thing really like that, where are they going to go?
Yeah, so I think they're just, the weird thing is, like, I think that's the reason why they've neglected infrastructure, because they've gambled and they've gone, with climate change or whatever, there's pretty much infrastructure is going to get screwed over. So they've banked more probably on the disaster part of it in some aspects. And and that was for, like, I don't know, like, weather and stuff. They had information that, like, there was going to be, like, an outbreak or something eventually, especially with SARS and stuff like that. And so they're like, okay, and I believe it was Obama was like, oh my God, so we gotta get masks, we gotta get PPE, we gotta get all this stuff ready, we gotta get ventilators. All of those orders went into effect. And then when Trump came into office, he's like, Obama did stuff, I'm cutting all the stuff Obama did. And that was way before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And so that messed up the response to this one. There was literally plans in place, but because of ego, we suffered.
And in Canada, instead of investing in the healthcare system, they actively put billions more than we already do into the military. Like like on top of the billions that we already gave to the military, they increased the military budget by like a couple billion more. And then they continued adding like billions to the military budget throughout COVID. Instead of funding the hospitals, as provinces are actively begging, we need more money in public health care. Like, we don't have the capacity, we don't have the beds, we're not paying doctors and nurses enough.
It's true. I hope you and everyone will have a wonderful week and weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wee.
Yeah, I hope everybody's having a good weekend. Or it's not the weekend yet, or we'll have a good weekend.
Wow,
I don't know what day of the week it is. Everything's blending together.
When the owl's angled it this way, look how happy the owl looks.
Oh!
Like,
No.
that's cute. All right, good to know that angle.
Oh, that's cute.
All right, we got you got some new followers.
Oh.
All right, they charge the amount of time they're allowed to drive due to less staff. They charge the amount of time.
Are you referring to the truckers and how long they need to drive and the tiredness that I was talking about earlier and them driving extremely sleep deprived? Because that was before COVID. That's been an ongoing issue.
The truckers should have stuck to ending quarantine requests for unvaxxed return travelers. Ending quarantine requirements for unvaxxed return travelers. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I think closer inspection of like why specifically the mandates is the crutch issue.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, our human right in Canada to access to safe, clean drinking water, that's been violated for a long time, but that's not one of the rights that people care about, I guess.
Oh my god, there's so many.
So many new chats. I know it gets hard to keep up with them all sometimes when there's a lot.
Oh man, okay.
We're doing our best. Sorry if we miss anyone's chats.
I'll just owl, chicken nugget, owl. I know the owl's happy. Owl's happy to join. If I'm not mistaken,
it's a stressful topic. Let's try to make it a little bit more fun.
Exactly. 4 to 8 hours before they required to stop driving and rest. Huh. Didn't know you could show Hooters on TikTok.
We found a loophole. Necklace is amazing. Oh, thank you.
Hiya.
Hello.
Hello, little Dev 100.
Oh, your room is so pretty. Thank you.
What in the rain?
I like color. I am the opposite of minimalism. The room is pretty. Thank you. Stu has been replaced by an owl. Suspicious. Oh.
So people can bring gas to the to truckers now.
I'm guessing you mean people can bring gas to the truckers now?
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sure that order's still in effect, but I also saw, like, lawyers saying that I think it's a violation of charter rights. Like, you're allowed to do whatever the fuck you want in that respect. So, something like that. I saw a lot of stuff where it was just like, all right, you're going to get fines if you do this. But the lawyers are like, yeah, but if you actually follow through on that, that would not be a thing. So it's just like, so there's a lot of interesting sort of legal gray areas that are being explored right now because of the charter. I think maybe after this, there will be like people are really going to take a look at the charter. and really sort of define what it is to be Canadian, what our rights actually are. And hell, like, should probably do another Bill of Rights. Like,
yeah, I mean, honestly, it's not a bad thing to reevaluate once in a while and make sure that it still matches our current needs.
Yeah, there needs to be like a digital aspect as well. Like these companies like harvest our information and data and like have all these like secret like spooky profiles on us.
Yeah. Why not make the argument for a digital charter of rights?
Yeah, both. Did you hear it came out that Lyme disease was a military experiment gone wrong? I heard that rumor, but I would love to see your sources.
Yeah.
Sources. Sources.
Yeah. If you got any sources, we'll write them down. We'll look into it later.
Sources. In the U.S.
It's Wednesday, guys. Thank you.
Oh, I thought it was Thursday.
Oh, so we got like at least another day at work.
Yes, I am a fake owl. I'm one of those fake owls that you've heard about.
Sorry, guys, our puppet's not real.
Those truckers are a waste of time, really. You know, at first I thought it was a waste of time. I was really hurt by it. Being the centerist owl, I have to see things from every perspective.
Oh god, and I can't imagine how annoying it must have been to put up with the amount of honking for like 12 days or whatever it's been. Like, oh.
Yeah, I think the fact that they've sort of adjusted over time makes it better than just them constant. Like, if the honking kept going and the torture kept going.
Yeah,
that would have been pretty bad. Because that's really violence. Like, that's not a peaceful thing. That's violent. If that was happening to me, oh my god, I would never sleep. Oh, and I need my sleep. Oh, I'm a poor owl that needs sleep.
It is considered, like, noise torture as well. It is considered a form of psychological warfare, like, endless, noise. So yeah, the protest does feel more peaceful ever since they're honking less, although they are still kind of sneaking in the occasional honks, even despite it being, I think, temporarily banned or something.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But they are a symptom of a deeper societal issue. And the deeper societal issue is not being addressed that affects everyone. So that's the tough part about this. It's like, right protest, wrong time, kind of wrong people, but yes, but no, but it's so
almost like they put the mandate and the anti-vax stuff so much at the forefront of this, specifically so that it would further divide people. Right. So that it, instead of really focusing on the fact that, yes, our human rights in Canada are being violated in multiple aspects, this convoy isn't addressing most of them, and the anti-vax and the mandate stuff is really turning a lot of people off of all of the rest of it, instead of us being able to actually have more conversations about the freedom and the rights part, instead of the vaccines and the mandate stuff as much, and all of that. And now it's basically turned into anyone that supports the convoy must be a white supremacist, and anyone that doesn't support the convoy must be against people having rights and freedoms.
Yeah.
So,
which is just kind of like not nuanced.
Yeah, so
both sides are having a hard time sort of listening to each other, and
it's making it harder, to have any kind of nuanced conversations and talk to each other and ask these critical questions of what the whole thing even means and what we really should be fighting for, because the second you ask any questions, well, automatically you must be on the other side, therefore you're the enemy, therefore, yeah.
Yeah, and so, well, we got a question here by R. Kelly12343. I'm very intrigued of why it ends with a 3.
That's the part.
Well, well, numbers are important. Numbers are important. I have a question. Why don't you agree with dropping mandates? Well, here's the thing. So, like, the entire time this whole pandemic's been going on, it's like we had this sort of general plan of what we were going to do and how long it was going to take and what was the point.
And the entire time, it's like the script got lost through the entire process. And now it's like, here we are. It's 2003 again. We're on the aircraft carrier with George W. Bush, and he's declaring mission accomplished 3 months into the freaking invasion of the Iraq War, and it's not even close to over yet. So maybe that's the issue. It's very similar to how we dealt with the Iraq War. We haven't learned anything. We're just so tired of how painful it is that we have to declare victory and wash our hands of it. But then it goes on for another 6 years. Costs $7 trillion. And at least 500,000 lives in well, you know, that was the war. But I'm just speaking metaphorically now. So like COVID feels like it's the same thing. It's a war. We're declaring victory early. And half of us are kind of just going, what about the plan, guys? And then everyone else is like, fuck the plan! The plan's over, we're done! And it's like,
we're like, what about our overrun hospitals? What about all the people that are having major surgeries postponed?
So what's the plan, I guess is...
Yeah. So
we're just sitting here like, okay, well, then what's the plan?
Yeah, what's the plan for all the people that are going to become
So it's
disabled?
not that we... it's like... I just feel like it's an important time to have a conversation of what is the strategy moving forward and maybe open up the floor so like we all have a say in what the plan is. I think one of the biggest problems up until this point is the people haven't even been consulted. It's just stuff's been going on for like 2 years and we've just been blindly following it. People need a say. There needs to be like some sort of committee where like we harvest data on ideas of what to do. But there's just no mechanism for the voice of the people. And if there was a mechanism for the voice of the people, maybe things would be better. I don't know. I don't think that answers your question entirely, but I just feel like, yeah, we're celebrating too early. Like we were just so close to the finish line. But the problem is, now here's the thing that I can like almost agree with the whole thing, is this was never going to get to a point where everyone would be happy with it, because we left businesses open, like the big box stores like Walmart and all these big places where it still continues the virus to spread. So we're never going to fully beat it.
Yeah.
And so of course it's going to go on forever. Yeah. So these people technically have a point. It's going to go on forever. Why? Because we've never fully locked down.
Yeah.
Because we need the money to flow. And so at the root of it, it's money. But we can't get to that. We're still talking about the mandates, but really it's the toxic part is the money. And the fact that we just, we can't put human life over money right now. Money still trumps human life. Anyway, I don't know.
Yeah, and like... shoot, I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
Oh, let's just, okay, we'll go into the next thing. Who will replace Trudeau? Who, lol, Par King, please. I think you're speaking about Pat King. He came up in my research of the many organizers or people maybe involved with the organization of the convoy. And they're connected to white supremacy and the alt-right and stuff like that. Yeah. So, yeah. And literally up until yesterday, they had like this what was it called? I forget, like a manifesto?
Memorandum?
A memorandum of something or other, like where basically said what they wanted to do. I was gonna...
MOU.
Yeah.
Canada Unity MOU. That's what it's called.
So that was their whole like rallying cry to get people organized behind it. But yesterday they got rid of it because they're like, oh, this doesn't represent us at all.
Did they? I literally just looked at it.
Yeah.
I must have just looked at it right before they got rid of it.
Yeah, they got rid of it like just this morning. So now there's no like so good thing we got record of it. I still have to read what it said, but now they're pretending that's not part of it now.
Damn, I should have gotten more. I should have gotten a bunch of screenshots of it.
So that's a little bit sus, right? So it's like you have this mission statement going in to rally all these people to your cause, and now you can just pretend it's not part of it, even though you've already sent out the rallying cry.
Yeah, and over 300,000 people signed that petition when I checked it last.
Yeah, so like So there needs to be a conversation, and there's probably needs to be like a whole rethinking of how we do political parties, and maybe a whole like redoing of the electoral system. So like, the voice of the people actually is respected, and maybe, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a whole bunch of things you could do, but because of how everything's set up, it's just like, eh. Anyways, all right, what we got?
Yeah.
They are supporting Aboriginals as well through their fight for their freedoms. Yeah, I guess so. It does feel like paper clipped on, and I just don't see them championing it. So
Yeah.
like, if it was like, and the mandates, avenge the kids, because there's literally 7,000 plus graves that have just been dug up. So if they literally, like, the second thing was like, avenge the children.
Yeah. Or at least found. I don't know if they've actually done anything to make sure that all of these children are actually brought home to, like, and maybe their families or descendants or anything, but yeah, at least found. I don't know if anything, I don't know really if anything's actually been done to make sure that these remains actually end up with, like, family members or anything like that.
Yeah, so like if this movement championed indigenous rights, the drinking water, the all the issues that they've been talking about,
Fairy Creek,
yeah,
the Wet'suwet'en lands.
Then I would say yeah, okay, this movement has my interest. Like there might be fringe elements in it, but if it starts to literally represent everyone and like figuring things out, I don't know, like.
Yeah, if it actually has a plan for our medical system, for the fact that we don't have the capacity for the amount of cases we have right now, what is the plan if we just step back and let everybody get sick? How are we going to deal with the increased hospital demand? How are we going to deal with all of the people that are going to become disabled by long COVID? How are we going to deal with all of the people dying? How are we going to deal with that? We're going to have a significant loss in the workforce because a lot of people are going to become disabled by long COVID if everybody gets sick.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's like the idea is to allow the movements to help the people and to make sure that the fringe elements don't get into control and hurt anyone. It's supposed to be helping people.
The whole fact that they're going, oh, well, the majority of the people dying have 4+ comorbidities or whatever it is. But having ever been a smoker in your life is considered a comorbidity, even if you have quit. Having mental health issues is considered a comorbidity. Being pregnant is considered a comorbidity. So a lot of people fit that category that I'm not okay with sacrificing for the sake of going to work? I just wouldn't it be better to fight for universal basic income? I don't know. It's just why is the argument to let all of these people die that do not deserve that?
Yeah, it should be end the mandates and UBI and all this other stuff, but it's just this one thing that doesn't even really help anyone.
Yeah, and about the fact of mental health issues being considered a comorbidity when it comes to COVID, do all of your mental health conditions combined, does that count as one comorbidity? Or does each individual mental health diagnosis count as its own comorbidity? Because if it's the latter, then I have more than 4 different diagnoses for mental health conditions. And on top of that, I am a former smoker. So from that alone, I would be considered to have all of these comorbidities. So therefore, I guess nobody cares if I die, if I become disabled, and I just can't sign off on that.
Yeah, no.
What's the plan for that?
Yeah, so we're just asking what the plan is. We're not like, oh my God, screw. If you have this idea of how you want things to go, okay, we can compromise, but what's the goddamn plan?
Yeah, and so far the main answer
No
I
plan.
seem to keep
No plan.
getting on what the plan is, oh, well, that's just life. People die every
people
day,
die.
I guess. That's not an acceptable answer.
Nobody left behind.
Yeah.
Nobody left behind. Anyways, next
freedom
thing
for
here.
all. What about the freedom of people that have comorbidities, that are immunocompromised, etc.?
Listen, time of pandemic, your right is not like before. Stop being selfish. Wear a freaking mask. I mean, I've worn a mask this whole time. So.
Yeah. I'm going to still continue to wear a mask, even long after, because I've realized that actually it's very beneficial in preventing any kind of illness, especially during flu season.
Pride!
So when
is Wednesday.
when I'm in stores and stuff like that, especially if I ever have to go out in public when I'm sick ever again, I'm definitely going to be wearing a mask, COVID aside. I don't want to be getting anybody sick, even if it's just the cold, even if it's just the flu. I don't want to give that to other people. It sucks. It's not fun to be sick.
Yeah. Are the stuffed animals an obsession or an addiction? Obsession?
Both. They're just so soft and cozy. I love them. A lot of times when we go shopping, like grocery shopping and stuff, we'll be like, can we look at the squishmallows at the same time? And then every time we go grocery shopping, I get another squishmallow or two.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. And I found this owl, and I was just like, this owl is awesome.
Yeah.
Look at him. He's so cool.
Little dragon squish.
I agree with medical professionals making pandemic decisions. Yeah. You know what I don't agree with? Medical professionals conveying pandemic information. They suck. They suck at it.
Like, they just need to get better at communicating.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, they needed to...
I really felt that about the NDP, too.
They needed to...
They just need to communicate better with people.
Yeah.
About what's going on.
Yeah. Like they needed... Like,
yeah.
in, like, the Great Depression, they had these fireside chats where, like, the president literally, like, every Friday talked to the people during the Depression to give them an update on what was going on.
Yeah.
And to tell them what was happening and to assure the American people that everything was under control. Everything was not under control in that time. They didn't know what the heck they were doing. But those fireside chats were one of the most listened to broadcasts in history because they needed that reassurance. And there was no television at the time, so radio was it. And he was able to soothe the American people and get them out of the depression by just talking to them. Wow. So that's all you need to do in these times of crisis. And nobody learns from history. Nobody takes any cues. Nobody sees what works and goes, you know what? Maybe we should do that. No, they just kind of do. I don't know who they're talking. I would like to know where, like, I want to see their homework of whose advice they were taking this whole time.
Yeah, just going.
I want to see your work.
The entire group sucks, and not actually responding to any questions or concerns, not actually responding to what people are asking, is not helping the situation.
The Native are not for all those protests, buddy. It's a lie. I am Native. Oh yeah, so that's one thing I've noticed, that there's been a lot of videos on TikTok where it's like, I'll see an Indigenous person be like, wow, I was welcomed with arms and like open arms and stuff, and it's like, oh, that's really heartfelt and like feels on the surface good, but then I also see drum circles that are just like them speaking gibberish and like, and it's not like a proper drum circle, and like it feels like appropriation. So I've seen like examples of like both going on.
I've seen videos of other people calling that out and saying like, this is not something that they would support. So
I have no problem wearing a mask, but I honestly don't mind. I am having an issue with needing a booster when I had a horrible allergic reaction to the second dose. Can't get an exemption.
I mean, I guess if you have like a legitimate allergy or something like that, the rare case where you have a legitimate allergy, then I understand needing an exemption in cases like that.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, the rare cases where people do have an allergy or are maybe too immunocompromised or something that they can't get vaccines, everybody else who is able to get a vaccine getting vaccinated helps protect the most vulnerable of our population, because right now our hospitals are mainly filled with unvaccinated patients, like of the COVID patients. I mean, the majority of the COVID patients are unvaccinated.
Yeah, so there's this really interesting thing where it's just like, you know, the vaccine doesn't, it's kind of like there's so many different variations of this virus that a vaccine's not going to protect you from every single one, but what it does is protect you from hospitalizations. But there's still some people who do get the vaccines that do get sick. It's not a perfect science.
Yeah, it's not 100%. It's
And I think those examples of when people get sick and they feel so betrayed by that, and then they tell that to people, and then it creates this massive confirmation bias, I think, with the group as well.
I think that, that's why anecdotal evidence is very dangerous, and why anecdotal evidence by itself is not truly evidence of the bigger picture of what's going on. It just gives you an idea of this one little piece of the picture, but yeah, it's kind of like how no form of birth control is 100%, but if you're trying to not have kids, then it's probably better to have something than nothing at all, and take as many precautions as you can. In the same way that if you're trying to not spread a deadly pandemic and not take up space in an already overrun hospital system where a lot of other people completely unrelated to COVID are now struggling to get the care that they need, then taking the vaccine as well as wearing a mask would be taking all of those precautions that are available to you to do your part in that, basically. And for me personally, I just know that I would feel so much more guilty if I knew that there was something that I could do to prevent getting somebody else sick, and I didn't do that, and because of my actions, I got somebody else sick, and then they ended up disabled or, God forbid, dead or something. I couldn't live with myself if I knew that that happened most likely through my actions, and there was something I could have done to prevent it, and I didn't. I couldn't live with myself if that happened. But if I do absolutely everything that I possibly can to protect myself and something still happens, I did everything that I could. It's like with driving. You wear your seatbelt, you check your mirrors, sometimes you still get into a car accident. I was an extremely safe driver. It had zero fault in my car accident. I'm getting a little bit off track now. But yeah, you take all the precautions you can, and if something does happen, you at least can feel good about the fact that at least I did everything that I possibly could, and this was fully out of my control. I can't do anything about it at that point.
Kids walking out of classes in Alberta today protesting the vaccine mandate that ends tomorrow.
I didn't hear about that, but that's pretty funny.
Alberta just wants to belong.
They just want to belong. Oh, they just want to take part.
They just don't want. They just want to like.
They want to cosplay as protesters.
Well, maybe not cosplay, but I mean, like they're putting their hand down to be like, we were there. We were there. We did it.
I'm helping.
Yeah,
No.
I don't think the spirit should be discounted.
Yeah, so I appreciate the spirit that people want to stand up for rights and freedoms.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that everyone's taken a stand and everyone feels really passionate about this. Keep that energy going for all the other issues that have been going on all the freaking time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you in Ottawa? No, I get. What do you do?
I'm just gonna pass the live off to you for a little bit. I'm just gonna go take a super quick break and be back in like 5 minutes.
Okay.
So I will let you continue. I just need a very quick stretch of the legs, puff of the vape.
All right. Well, here's the owl. Owl's gonna answer. Continue. And maybe there's no. I can't do two. I'm just gonna keep it at one. All right. Are you in Ottawa? No, I guess you did not see what they did. No, all so friendly. Yeah, so we are on the other side of the country and we're really interested in what's going on, um, and really concerned. So if there's any information or any sort of updates or things you've seen or details, like we are very interested. They won't win, I assure you. Well, yeah, of course not. Um, I've yet to see a protest movement sort of work in modern time. I mean, show me one that's worked. Well, I'll wait. This look big. You see them on TV. It's just a big truck. Looks scary, but count it. Children protesting something that ends tomorrow because they just don't want to go to class. Well, I mean, yeah, dude. Would you want to be in class right now? I wouldn't want to be in class right now. School's like a freaking prison, man. Kids need a break, man. Anyway. I am not, but many friends in Ottawa right now and have seen and watched their activity live to watch. So what's going on with them? Please, Confederate flag, hello white supremacists. Yeah, there was like a couple of like Confederate flags. There was Trump flags. There's the "Don't Tread on Me," which is not a Confederate thing. It's like a Civil War thing. Yeah, I just found that out the other day. The whole the American flag used to literally be that snake flag once. I didn't know that. Don't tread on me. It was like talking to the British or something. I don't know, but it's like the American flag was stripes, and then it had stripes with the British coat of arms, and then a yellow thing with a snake. And then back to the red, white, and blue with the stars and the stripes. It's kind of funny. All right. Let's see. Oh, thank you for following. Thank you for following. I'm not the main act. Sky Bleach is. I'm just filling in until she comes back from stretching her legs because she's apparently been doing this for a while, and I just got here. So, I mean, the people don't understand epidemiology. Oh yeah, people. So this, I think, one of the biggest things is a testament to education and the degradation of education over time, and how important education was this whole time, and how we shouldn't have been, stretching teachers out and making schools suck and not funding them, and I don't know, growing up I had terrible teachers. I only had 3 or 4 teachers that actually gave a damn, and I'm sure other people had a similar experience, and how are you supposed to learn if no teacher cares? So yeah, more funding in education, and then people would probably understand epidemiology. Ooh, got all caps. Ooh. Oh, caps, okay. Anyway, the U.S. will deal with this, and the Canadian Army will have no choice to get in. It's a big joke. King represents white supremacists. He admitted it live law. I'm not sure if your caps lock was on, but I thought, we should shout that. We are far from endemic. We can get to endemic, but not those with pig headed like those trucker. Oh, okay. So it's the USA will have to deal with this. I don't think the USA will have to deal with this. Canada is probably well capable of dealing with it itself. There's just a lot of bureaucratic stuff that probably has to go on to deal with something like this. So they're taking it slow and making sure that they make the right choice, I'd imagine. But that's giving them the benefit of the doubt. There's also a movement to undo the Indian Child Welfare Act that threatens tribal sovereignty. Oh, well, I'll have to look into that one. Oh, let me write that down. Oh. Whenever I see something new, I gotta write it down. Write that down. What is that? A movement to undo the Child Welfare Act.
Would you like more coffee?
Yes, please.
Okay.
To undo the Child Welfare Act. Oh, that was good. Good. All right. Oh, sorry. Dead air. Woo! Back to the L. All right. He's here. You think those leader truckers will fix the health system? Well, ha. Yeah. Yeah, the fact that, like, they're just, like, end the mandates and it's like, that's it. And rights and freedoms. I don't know. Just seems like such a narrow group of people to help. Sounds like those people need to take precautions. Geez, you really dedicate your whole life to love. I love your glasses. I don't have anything against gay people. There are 90% of Canadian are for diplomacy, not white supremacist trucker to run this country. Yeah, if you actually look at how many, like, they've done polls, if people, like, agree with the truckers' message, and most people actually don't agree with it, like, if you do polls. So, the polling is against the truckers, even though the imagery gives the illusion that, like, the whole country's united with them. Medical health needs some fixing, but the trucker won't fix that. Yeah, that's true. Freedom of what? Freedom of being able to walk free and get COVID? Yeah. Freedom to die, or free doom. The freedom to free doom. Hi, I am bi and gay. Are you? I am not, but my girlfriend is. Trucker are messing with the health system. Now they don't care and more getting sick now. Yeah, so that's a interesting thing that I was wondering about this. Are they weaponizing themselves just by being themselves and just by, like, you know, championing being, like, agents of COVID in a way and helping spread the virus and lock up the healthcare system even more? Spooky. Trudeau had daily COVID updates when it started, which I think worked. Yeah, wow, that would have been handy. A little bit of authenticity from the guy would have been freaking nice. Dude should have probably had, like, a podcast type setup where the dude actually talked, but I don't think he's got an authentic bone in his body. And I don't think he cares. Like, honestly, he probably, like, he's forgotten about us a long time ago. I am fully vaccinated. The second dose had a strong effects, but I'm here and not dead. Gee. But my third dose, it was okay. Oh, good. So much going on in the background. I know. There's a whole studio audience here. We all had vaccines as a kid and in our life, and now we're not dead. I got vaccinated and got COVID a few weeks later. Yeah, it doesn't stop you from getting it. It just, you know, did you go to the hospital? That would be my question. Because if you didn't go to the hospital, then you were very lucky. Because remember at the beginning of this, when nobody had immunity, they were finding bodies with, like, blood clots clustered through the entire body. And, like, doctors were looking at people and had no idea what was going on. And people needed ventilators and they didn't even understand why. And, like, it was scary. Everyone forgets how scary this was at the beginning. Anyway. As of March 1st, no more masks either. I can't wait. Cool. Well, yep, I guess that's, in a way, us, like, surrendering, you know? Mm. We surrender to COVID. COVID has won. Spent 2 years unvaccinated, never got it, but got vaccinated and got it. Well, now, that's an interesting thing. So, spent 2 years unvaccinated and never got it. You were probably taking precautions, and, yeah, and also, because a lot of other people at the time were taking precautions at the very beginning. Like, if there was no, like, There was a lot, yeah, like if there was a chance to not get it at the beginning, it was the highest chance at the beginning. So then when the vaccine came out, everyone started to relax. Everyone started to slip back and let their guard down.
Yeah, people started going to music festivals
again.
again.
I remember I was still like, quarantining myself away from everybody, and then everyone was visiting each other and making plans and having Christmas dinners, and nobody cared about anything. And it's
the
like
mall seems to be open.
The
at
mall
full
was
capacity.
mall was open at 110, packed, absolutely packed. So
yeah.
Yeah,
like every time we went to the mall like a couple of times here and there because I had like some time sensitive coupons and I didn't want to waste them, and then every time I went I was like, oh god, was that a mistake? Like there were so many people.
God. So it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like everyone stopped caring once the vaccine came out. So of course then it's like Omicron started spreading and then got everybody. Your feed is freezing. Oh no.
Oh no.
It's the terrible Wi-Fi. There's nothing we can do. Tail COVID. It's not 100%, but it helped you so you don't get it as hard. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, like the very fact that the majority of people in Canada are vaccinated, but the majority of the COVID cases that require hospitalization are unvaccinated. So that in itself shows the vaccine is working, and that even if you do get sick, which yes, it's still a risk, it lowers the severity of it, so you're less likely to take up valuable resources in our medical system that we do not currently have enough of for everybody at the moment, which again, there's some blame on the government for that too, for not setting up our medical system better,
all the
investing
blame.
in that more.
Lots of uneducated people, so sad. Okay, have a good day, my friend. You too?
Have a good day.
It was weird that was one string-along sentence, but all right. New hobby, review bombing trucker companies on Google Maps. Yeah, so that's another thing that came up in my research was...
Oh, careful! Falling off the edge of the bed.
Woo.
Woo.
Almost died. Okay, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, so there was a lot of truckers that are part of the truckers union that aren't a part of this movement. So where are all these trucks coming from? Turns out companies that rent them, the smaller companies that do trucking, they're the ones that are supplying all the trucks to activists. And it's...
So they're like renting trucks?
Yeah. Out to activists to be part of this. Tractors, trucks, any sort of big vehicle they've got just sitting around, they're mobilizing like an army. And these small trucking companies have a vested interest because there's a frightening statistic that they're like 80% of like the crime in Canada when it comes to the trucking industry. It's the small companies taking advantage of truckers that have the most to gain from this movement. That was a crazy thing that came up in my research. I'm going to flesh that out a little bit more. But yeah, it was like, there's a whole aspect of like small trucking companies just flooding the streets with just their vehicles and activists, and it's not actually truckers, it's the companies. That makes this a little bit weirder and more dynamic and nuanced because that's an angle. That is an angle.
Yeah, so we're working on doing a lot more research into all of these different things, and this live is also kind of part of that research to see what other things come up so that we can write that down and do more research into it. And then we're gonna try and do like maybe a more in-depth actual video. Maybe do like a YouTube video or something, and then like actually try and do like a deep dive and like actually go into all of our research into all of like these different things as best as we can. But of course it's going to take a little bit of time to do stuff like that.
Yeah. Was there a drink you had a drink for Mr. Owl?
It might be hot, so be careful.
A hot drink for Mr. Owl.
A hot drink. Cool owl, I bet he's a hoot at parties. Yes!
I'll keep him away.
But yeah, have we really gotten any response yet on, like, so if we step back and we end all restrictions, we end all the mandates, we end all of it, and we just let COVID do its thing, what is the answer for our healthcare system? What is the plan? What are we gonna do about that? Is there gonna be any plan for all of the people that become disabled?
Yeah.
Like,
oh, don't let me squish you up.
Whoop. Squish.
But yeah, I was the owl the whole time. Thank you for joining, everyone. There's only 3 of you left, but there was a lot of people, and I feel like at least some people check things out.
Yay! But yeah, feel free to comment if you have any more, like, questions or other points. Or
we're talking about the Freedom Convoy or anything related to that. Or anything you want to really talk about. Like, I think at this point we can open up the floor to just, like, well, what do you guys want to talk about?
Yeah, or as I've also seen some people call it the Flu Trucks Clan. Or the Karen Convoy. I've also seen those.
Oh yeah, they really want to talk to the manager.
Yeah! They literally went to, like, the government of Canada, like, I demand to speak to you. And, except the only problem is, it's not that they are like, I demand to speak to your manager. It's like, they're like, I demand to get your manager undemocratically fired and everybody that he works with and replace them undemocratically.
Yeah.
Like, ah!
It's not that they want to get the manager fired.
That's the part that's like, oh, hold up. Let's have a talk with the manager.
I'll just let you talk. You're better at this.
That's okay. No, it's okay. You're doing great.
But yeah, so we got Simon Sage, Simon Collins. We got a lot of Simons in the chat. And who's this other person?
I don't know.
Chaotic Gemini. Oh, wow. From Nova Scotia. Cool.
Cool.
Well, thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we really just want to talk, and we're concerned about stuff.
Yeah.
There can only be one. I'm just imagining like this anime, like, you know, the bars come down and into people's eyes, and this shot of the blade, and everyone like running at each other, and then a silhouette shot of both each other like crossed at either side, and you don't know who got who. But yeah.
I think we're finally all caught up on the chat and everything.
I know, there was like 99 chats. What I worried was it took so long to get to the answers, like the people who asked the original questions were no longer there.
Oh no.
But
yeah, we're doing our best to like get to everybody.
Alright. See you later there, Simon. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Want to give Simon a follow? Yeah, just follow Simon. Just because. Thank you, Simon. And have a good day. All right. Hey, it's Matt. So many people.
How's it going? How's everyone doing?
Hello, humans and robots. And if you're a robot, I have a special message for you. 01100 00.
I hit the copy button. Keeps me just a little bit.
Okay. RCSS 97. What's up? What does the RC stand for? And chaotic Gemini
Robotic
joined.
car?
Oh, what have I done? Oh, robotic car?
Yeah, that's what RC stands for. I took a guess.
Race car? Squish a little bit. No.
Squish.
Okay, what do we got? Oh, and you got to follow. Simon followed you back. Yay! Chaotic Gemini, we're going to follow you as well. Thanks for joining. Really appreciate it. If If you post any cool stuff, we'll be like, what's up? Peter D. How's it going? Keeps freezing worse on me and kicking me out. Wi-Fi just hating. Oh no.
Well, I'm gonna try and post like the full stream on YouTube afterwards. So you can also follow my YouTube, Skylar Bleach, and then I'll try and upload it on there later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Thanks for sending the likes. We appreciate it. Be sure to follow and like us because we want to follow and like you and expand our social circles and be like, what's up? Hold down the grid of love.
Thank you. How's
Yay.
everyone doing right now?
Yeah, how are you all doing?
Yeah, Steel's my boyfriend.
Yeah, it's just one of the many puppets I got. I got the owl. He's pretty cute. He's new. The teddy bear's the oldest. He's pretty awesome. He's a little fancy with his tail.
Yeah, we got a few different puppets.
Got the llama.
Steve.
And then the cow.
Karen, the conservative cow.
Karen, the conservative cow. Wants to speak to the manager. Very concerned about everything. Oh, looks. I want to speak to the manager. Humph. 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 Wow, it like works. Oh.
It like works. I also have a fairly extensive plush collection here myself, mostly Squishmallows and childhood ones. Oh, that's awesome! Yeah, I have a couple of childhood ones. Ooh, they're a little bit out of the camera. They're like, they're along like, that wall over there.
You know they can't see what you're pointing at, right?
I know, that's what I'm trying to get, like, that's what I'm trying to show the directionality that...
But you could just point anywhere.
Okay, fair, yeah, well, they're along the...
Oh, you're funny.
Shelf on the wall.
Oh, they must specifically. It's right there as you elbow me on the shot. It's really cute. We both have stuffed animal collections, and that's how like one of the many signs that we knew that we were perfect for each other because it was like, oh, I've got all these stuffed animals, and then I was like, so do I.
Yeah. So some of the Squishmallows are his too.
Yeah. Yeah, I have more stuffed animals. I used to call them stuffies.
Stiffies.
They were my stuffies.
Stiffies.
And I kind of grew up in the middle of nowhere, so my stuffies were my best buds for a while there.
Yeah.
So I've always appreciated the importance of stuffed animals. They're always with you.
Yeah.
If you take care of them. Gold Pass 4 joined.
What's up?
Oh, wait, that was old. I think Gold Pass 4 is gone now.
Oh, how's it going? But
still, Chaotic Gemini is with us. Yay! Anything you want to ask us or talk to us about, Chaotic Gemini? It's not every day that two random people were just
Did
like,
you want the cup?
oh, yeah.
Yeah, just take it away.
You could do that. I appreciate the thought. After getting into Squishmallows, I just approve you to squish.
Yeah, we do that a lot too.
Yeah.
Squish.
Yeah, it's a lot to say Squishmallow every time. Squishmallow.
I couldn't fit him in the
Is it
shot.
mellow or mallow?
Mallow. Like marshmallow.
Okay.
We squish.
My brain had to sort of like process that and accept it. Okay, I'm okay with it now.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, I'm pretty sure I've been thinking about it wrong this whole time until this very moment. So
They squish and they're mellow.
Yeah. I thought they were Squishmallows. Like mellow.
I mean, they're kind of both.
Like mellow as in chill, you know?
They're mellow, but they're also kind of shaped like marshmallows. Marshmallow.
Mostly here just chilling.
Marshmallow shark.
Always happy to hear other points of view.
Yes.
We certainly have diversity of view, and I have a lot of friends that are like all these like perspectives that are not mine. But the one cool thing that I have with all these people is like the ability to communicate with them, which I don't think a lot of people get to have with people that don't think the same way as them. So I feel really blessed in that respect that I can actually figure things out because of that. And it's less fighting and more, I mean, it certainly has its heated moments, but it's less, oh, how dare you, and
yeah, it's more coming from a place of heart, whereas a lot of times it feels like it just turns into very antagonistic and kind of childish name calling.
Yeah, I have a safe space for ideas. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I've even messed up. I got nationalism and patriotism mixed up the other day.
Ironically, somehow this stream of talking about a very controversial current event that is very political, or at least very politicized, the comments have been, like, overall a lot, like, more chill
and constructive
and constructive on topic, I guess. Wow. Less like trolly, like more, even if it was like, okay, I'm not totally sure what you're trying to say, it seemed like they were at least trying to say something. Whereas like some of the just videos, live streams where I was just doing my makeup, I had so many trolls coming into the chat to like attack me and like throw all these random controversial political things at me. So it's interesting that
when you like choose the subject, people are like less trolly and yeah,
that's interesting. So that's interesting. I seem to have more like political trolls on some of my makeup lives than I've had in like this one. So that's very interesting. Or people will come into the chat and just spam Trump 2020, and I'm like, did we go back in time?
Well, time's not linear, honey. Your time exists all at the same moment.
So nobody's spamming random, like,
to them,
Trump.
To them, it's
nobody's
still,
spamming that.
It could, technically to them, they could still actually be living in 2020. According to, like, how quantum time and quantum physics and time works. All time exists at once.
Because time is relative. They're literally just still living.
They're still, like, so it seems crazy from our perspective.
The last 2 years have been very tough.
Anyway,
I'm sorry.
It's like how some people pronounce marshmallow as mellow versus mellow, and the brand is based on feeling. Based on a feeling that tonight's gonna be a squish night. That tonight's gonna be a squish night. Tonight's gonna be a squishy night.
Baby shark do 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 do. Sorry.
I saw that's one of my favorite parts of bringing friends into watching The Flash. I'm like, no, gotta discuss how time works first. Oh, you know, I've never actually seen The Flash.
Yeah, I think that was like...
I've missed that series completely. Is it good? Do they mess with time travel? Do they mess with time travel? Please tell me. Because if they mess with time travel, I love that.
So yeah, something more interesting.
I always thought like that's how they could totally fix Star Wars, with a little bit of time travel-y, timey-wimey stuff, like some type of time travel device to like fix certain maybe aspects. But I don't know. I think they will fix it with The Mandalorian. I haven't actually seen all the new seasons or anything, but apparently it's pretty good.
Another fatherless child. Oh, I spoke too soon. I jinxed myself about saying something about the trolls. Well, I'll tell my dad you said hi.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's a very generic
too
troll.
Soon about the trolls.
There should be like another fatherless child trademark, because like it's like I bet you there's like a troll who's like selling these trolls to other trolls, and like they're using it thinking it's the first time that this is it's like a troll trolled the troll and sold the troll a troll, and then the troll bought the troll not realizing it was a troll. Anyways. That's one of the huge factors. The Flash constantly messes with time and deals with the butterfly effect.
Ooh, yeah, we'll definitely check it out. It's been so hard to keep up with all of the Marvel content because there's so much. So
that's not Marvel, honey. That's not Marvel.
Oh, fuck. DC. Shit.
Yeah.
It's hard to even keep track. I'm sorry. My brain's Sally's
I know
freaked
my
out.
shit.
I'm gonna go
I
hide
know
in
my
the
shit.
squishmallow pile now.
I at least know the corporate overlord that owns the franchise.
Oh dear God! I got fucked up. I'm just gonna hide in the squishmallow pile now
You've been replaced by Sally.
before everybody comes and calls me like a fake man.
Sally's now the. Oh no, but I'm holding the coffee and Sally, and I can't screw up. Okay. Back to you.
Oh gosh.
I want to get a T-shirt made with that on it. Fatherless child. Yeah, embrace it, right?
I mean,
What are they gonna say? Say it again?
create a small business, make art, make fatherless child art,
Make-
and then profit off of it by getting people to embrace it and take it back and just turn it into an empowering, to just like empower people, because it's not your fucking fault if your parents weren't there for you. So why are we blaming the victim?
Ooh, it's finally all out and we can binge it. Oh, we can binge it.
Yes, that's the best time to watch shows, because I have a heart. I sometimes forget about shows when I have to wait a really long time for each next episode to come out.
Yeah.
Like with Orange is the New Black, I think I forgot about it for like 2 years until the final season was finally out, because you had to wait like a whole year in between like each episode or whatever to come out. Or I mean, not episode, not a year per season, because each season would drop all at once. You'd have to wait like a year in between each like season. So sometimes by the time the next season came out, I would totally forget about it, because, you know, ADHD, lack of object permanence. If it's not right there in front of me, sometimes I kind of forget that it exists for a while until it pops back up on my radar, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that show, yes, I get to binge watch it now. And I kind of did that with Orange is the New Black, and like by the time that I remember the show again, I think I had like 2 or 3 seasons to like catch up on for the finale. It was something like that. But then we got to watch it all at once, and then I got to show it to Steo as well. So
Yeah, good times.
I just went up rewatching the whole thing again.
Hey, Che Ray Hill. Hello. Welcome to the chat.
Drives you crazy. Wait, what drives you crazy?
The Netflix stuff?
The Netflix stuff?
Hate waiting for
Oh, waiting for shows.
there's
I missed that one. Yeah.
I missed that part.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really cool if you could just like snuggle up with all your squishes and then like watch all the shows for like 3 to 4 days. And what's really cool about it is you can really see the meticulousness of good writing that way. Because when you wait between shows, sometimes I forget what happens between episodes. And then I have to like, that recap becomes really important if you've waited a long time. But then the recap almost is like babying you along. It's like, pay attention to these details. These details are important. And it kind of takes away from the mystique. So if you could just binge the whole thing, then you're just like,
yeah,
you know, and there's no sort of weird, these are the details to focus on. It's like, I'll focus on them, you know.
Sorry, I just instantly thought of the Supernatural recaps and how they play that song every single time. Or at least for the season recaps, I think.
Ooh, Black Lightning. Cool. Well, that's awesome that Netflix is doing all the DC stuff, TV shows. I'm sure I heard Green Arrow was the thing. I never saw that either.
Oh, man, yeah.
Also, highly recommend Black Lightning. Yeah, we'll have to check it out. I have like a million shows on the go because of having to wait. Having to wait for shows drives me crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. We've been watching through all of the old original SpongeBob episodes right now. Yeah. They're so good.
Yeah, in a weird way, we try to stay away from shows until they're fully out, and then we watch them, because then it's like, yeah, we can get the whole thing. It's just really tough, like things with Star Wars. It's like, I love Star Wars. I've seen so many Star Wars spoilers that I'm just like, oh, for crying out loud. I pretty much know all the like key sort of like details of like neat stuff they just did, and I'm like, couldn't the internet just shut up for a second? But of course they had to talk about it because everyone has to wait for them. So then once it comes out, everyone feels obliged to talk about it, right? So that's where that method doesn't work, but that's okay. It's the sacrifice I make. I'll just pretend to, just whatever. Green Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Black Lightning, and Stargirl. Ooh. Stargirl. I like the That's kind of a
Wait,
neat
what's
name.
Stargirl?
I don't know. That sounds neat.
The first thing that's coming to mind is I swear there was like a book that I read in high school called Stargirl about someone who changed their name a bunch. And it was like one of the things that finally inspired me to change my name because I didn't actually know that that was like a thing you could do. And then I think that the character in the book, like, I think changed her name to Stargirl or something like that. And I was like, you can do that? Mind blown. What?
Stargirl's the new Starman. He was one of the members of the Justice Society.
So probably not based off of the book that I read, but same name. So that's the thing that my brain thinks of. I'm pretty sure that's what it was called. I swear that's yeah. That's what my brain thinks of. So I think that's what it's called. It's either that or it's very, very similar, but I think it's that.
Yeah, it's really neat that like all the kids that grew up with comic books are now adults making like high budget quality content of those comic books that they reread and watched and read and
Yeah, and then all those people are like, oh, nobody reads comic books, haha.
oh yeah then all those kids grew up and were like, oh, I'm gonna make the best movies ever. And like admittedly like all the comic book content movies has some really cool shots in it, and it's because of how comic books are designed. They're basically like built-in storyboards.
Yeah, so don't change for other people.
Yeah. So good on you, comic book shows. If you ever watched Smallville, Stargirl was a character in it. Unfortunately, no, I never watched Smallville.
Small girl. Small.
Supergirl, Lois and Clark. Yeah. Yeah, that show was on when I was younger, and I missed most of it.
Oh.
I didn't have the channel. Lulu Mel, hi.
I love how this just totally switched to talking about like shows and stuff now.
Well, yeah, I mean,
we needed a break from all the other
it was
stuff.
stressful, so like let's
I'm
get
glad that the
humanity.
honking is finally stopped, because watching all of the lives with all of the honking was so grating. Like, it was giving me so much of a headache to actually try to listen to anything that people were saying. And in a lot of cases, the honking was actually drowning out what the actual speakers at the events were saying, so I couldn't even hear their own message. They were drowning out their own message. I was like, I'm actually trying really hard to hear what they're saying so I can like see what's going on to form an opinion properly, but I can barely hear some of what, like, a lot of what some of them are saying. Like, some of them have better sound quality than others. Some of them talked really loud into the mic, but there was a lot that I really had to, like, strain through all that honking. So it's like, oh, like, just gave me such a headache. So I'm very relieved that, that the honking's chilled out a lot now that, they've kind of, like, made it more...
Honk.
I can actually watch the lives without immediately getting a freaking migraine. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so like the protest is more tolerable, but I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not. Anyway, it's super sus. There's sus elements, and
at the same time that all of these protesters have their tents literally set up on the streets and around, like, memorials and stuff, and just camping out and, like, just temporarily living there, are they allowing homeless people to do the same? That's another question that I'd have. Because I have personally, with my own eyes, watched homeless people that, like, they like, tried to build up their what little shelter they could with, like, some tents, some cardboard boxes and stuff, and I watched like, crews with hazmat suits and stuff come along and pick all of it up, toss it all into the back of the van, and take it to a dump and, like, destroy it. And in winter and stuff too, so it's just like, and it wasn't even particularly in an area that where it would bother anybody. It was, like, by an abandoned building. They weren't, like near a bunch of people or anything, so I was just like, this just feels so wrong. And then now to contrast that with now that all of these protesters are, like, camping in the streets, well, what about homeless people?
Yeah, they've been needing to camp out for a while.
Yeah.
But they didn't have rights, so.
They've needed shelter for a long time.
So the difference between them and these guys is they seem to have different standards than
And then people point
marginalized
to...
people.
Yeah, and then people point to things like, oh, garbage and drugs and stuff like that, but then a lot of that comes down to, like, mental health issues, so then that comes back to arguments of, like, okay, so do you agree then that we need to fix the mental health system, and have more, like, addiction services and stuff to help help people recover from their addictions and stuff, because that would really, really help with that a lot.
Hello, new people.
How's it going?
It looks like some people are just kind of traveling through the multiverse.
Through.
But we really appreciate Chaotic Gemini for sticking in and hanging out with us. Someone's hanging out with us. That's cool.
Yay!
Really appreciate it.
Maybe I just picked a bad time to go live. Maybe
there's a new Lois
right
and yeah, I guess people on the other side, Nova Scotia, Ontario, or NS on. So on the side.
If I remember, I think when I looked it up, Ontario was like 3 hours ahead of us. So like
only
10,
3?
11, 12.
Wow.
12:45, something like that.
You're from Toronto and have been involved in a few programs the city has. I love some, but some not first colors.
Oh. So many have emotional support animals and they're not allowed to bring them?
What?
Doesn't that, like,
defeat the
violate
purpose?
disability rights?
Doesn't that defeat the purpose of emotional support animals?
Yeah,
You can't bring it in.
we do. So what, are you supposed to ban your emotional support animal? No. Like, what the fuck? No. No.
I've been trying to stay in your like, but it lags every 5 seconds. Oh man.
Aww.
Well, we appreciate you trying.
Unfortunate. I'm gonna try and post the entire live on. I'm gonna save it if I can and post it on YouTube afterwards on my YouTube Skylar Bleach. So hopefully I'll be able to post it that way. You can watch the entire thing without it like stuttering and stuff like that.
So the homeless vets having to choose between sleeping on the street or having to stay with their dogs, or having to choose to sleep on the street just to stay with their dogs. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's... Talk about a choice that's not really much of a choice. Fuck.
Yeah, there's been problems going on in Canada for a while.
Yeah.
And the way veterans have been treated makes me never want to take part in any modern war.
Yeah.
Because why?
Yeah, what's the justification for that? What's the justification for that one?
Also, I'm moving in Nova Scotia right now. It's almost 2 p.m. here. Oh, wow.
Oh, damn, wow. Wow, Nova Scotia's quite a bit of hours ahead of us. Quite. That was excellent English. Okay, more coffee.
Yeah, we're like totally on opposite ends of the country, but it's okay. We're still Canadian.
Yeah.
Go Team Canada.
Also, I always forget just how big Canada is sometimes, that it spans that far across, that we're in actually like that many different time zones.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, we're more in BC.
From 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Phew.
British Columbia.
Yeah, we're out in BC right now.
Columbia of the British. Actually, I've always wondered why it was called British Columbia.
It was always so annoying trying to write it in the maps.
I wonder if they went to like Vancouver and it was like, oh, it's so rainforesty here. This is just like Columbia. I feel like that's not the association they made at the time, but that's my ignorance on display right there. Okay. But, maybe look up at it. Wait, it's cool.
We are, like, still a British colony, so it's probably the British. I'm sure that's got one to do with the other.
Y'all stop playing with us. Why?
What?
What do you mean playing? You want to play a game? You want to
The wildest
Call of
to me
Duty or
is
Counter-Strike?
half-hour difference when it's in Newfoundland.
Oh
And
yeah,
also the time zones.
like all the time zones are like hour chunks at a time, but I think Newfoundland is like a half-hour time zone change, which is weird.
Oh!
Yeah, something like that.
That is confusing. What?
And then
What?
and then time zones actually, I think
I
don't.
didn't actually know that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I actually didn't know that Newfoundland has a half-hour time zone.
Yeah, it's special
Yeah.
or something like that. People complain for nothing. People do complain for nothing.
Yeah.
That is a statement that I can agree with. I am Wavy, and my girl Luli. We played.
Oh, a lot of it we've
Oh, you are the Call of Duty dude. What's up?
Warzone's kind of been on and off.
Dude, like, honestly, like, me and my friends are just like, we're bored.
We're having a hard
We're
time.
bored to tears with the game.
We keep trying to play it, and
It's
so
just
much.
so boring. And, like, oh my god. And the amount of errors and crashes and just updates and
new guns.
The new guns suck.
The new guns.
My friend spent $16 on a skin.
It doesn't work.
This skin is broken. When he talked to tech support, the Call of Duty guys were just like, tough. You're not getting a refund either.
Yeah.
And that was their response.
And then the few times when we do play, usually we kind of already have a full squad.
Yeah, and it's usually like synced up with like a bunch of our homies that are playing right at a critical moment before everyone goes to work and stuff like that. And we're not even really just playing that much anymore. It's so meh. Yeah. I would rather play games 20 years old using the original Half-Life engine because at least those games were goddamn fun.
I'm going to buy Minecraft again.
Yeah, get Minecraft again. Like, I'm going to play The Specialist, which is like a Matrix fucking mod. Like, it's freaking dope, man. I would highly suggest getting The Specialists. You won't regret it. Matrix mod. Some people are suffering a lot more. They don't cry for a little vaccine bunch of crybaby.
They don't cry.
Some people are suffering a lot more. I just wish there was punctuation, then I could really understand your sentence.
I'm just, the part where it says cry for a little vaccine, I'm not sure if you're saying that the people that don't want to take the vaccines are crybabies, or that the people that do want to take the vaccines are crybabies. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I can't play COD after zombies.
Oh, yeah, I think the most recent Zombies campaign that they came out with was just like, they didn't even work on it.
Oh.
And then like Vanguard itself is just abject trash. Yeah. And then they're like, and we're coming out with a new game! And it's like...
I just like that Warzone is free.
It's like, you're coming out with a new game, you haven't finished the last 3. And now you're going to come out with 3 more. And they don't see what the problem is with that. Call of Duty is in its dying stages. They're always going to have mindless zombies that play that game, and they'll always like have money and stuff, but peak Call of Duty Warzone was during 2020 when everyone was stuck inside during the pandemic and we couldn't go outside anymore. So, booping in the Warzone, it was fucking, what a great way to spend the pandemic, to be honest. I had so many epic nights, like doing some combat and, playing Warzone.
Yeah, there was a good chunk of the pandemic that we were literally isolating out in a forest at the beginning, literally staying in a cabin in the woods, in a small town. We didn't even have Wi-Fi, so on our cell data, we would have to drive to a spot where we could get connection with our cell phones, and we would use our cell data to play mobile Call of Duty, and that was how we gamed for the time that we were isolating out in this cabin for like a year? Over a year? It was like a year. or something like that, wasn't it? The Furby!
Someone wanted to see the Furby. Yep, Furby's here. Hello. Welcome.
So all of those Facebook memes that go around that are like, oh, would you stay in this cabin in the woods without internet or cell service for a year for $1 million? I did it. Where's my $1 million? I want the $1 million, please, please, somebody. Who's offering the $1 million behind all of those fucking Facebook things?
Let's see.
Catch back up to where we were at.
I only even play
I
my
wanna get a
Switch and
Switch.
GameCube these days. Yeah, I just got an emulator. I just need to fix the emulation, and I can literally play like any game, any retro game. I'm excited. But it's all in PAL, so I gotta get an NTSC. Yes, the whole world is suffering, that is for sure.
Yeah.
Here's the Furby. Furby's right here. Ooh, said the Furby.
Just saw the video about it. Oh, that's so cool.
Yay.
That video's still circulating.
Yep.
Yeah, I posted a little while ago, so it's kind of trippy that it's like still circulating.
I mean, some other country people suffer in war, etc., a lot worse than just a vaccine. Yeah, exactly. You want to talk about human suffering, like, go to Africa, go to India, you know? Like,
Man.
some people that are just like, oh my god, this vaccine is tyranny. It's like, have you seen the rest of the world? Oh wait, you haven't, because you're in your tiny little bubble.
One of the peak, like, so close to seeing the point but still missing it moments that I've seen was somebody was basically like posting on Facebook. Somebody was basically posting on Facebook like, oh, the all of the and this was like before all of the like recent mandates that are being protested over. This was like a little bit earlier in the pandemic, for context. It was mainly over at that time they were really just requiring you wear a mask to go inside. So that was what they were upset about, kind of thing. And I think like some vaccine recommendation requirement things were like just beginning. They were like, oh, why is or there was like complaining like, oh, this is like tyrannical overreach, this is like way too much overreach from the government, but then why is China have way less cases than us?
Yeah,
but do you know how hard China cracks down on lockdowns and stuff? Yeah.
Very good.
I wouldn't say Canada is exactly on the same scale there. Like, so close to seeing the point and then just missing it. So they're like, having any kind of regulations or anything in place to try and prevent the spread of COVID in Canada is tyrannical government overreach. But then why is China doing better than us when they're doing all of this tyrannical government overreach?
Yeah, and we really...
And probably also underreporting.
Well, yeah, we have no idea what's going on in China, unfortunately.
Yeah, we just don't even know.
China's
what's
like,
going on
we
there,
fixed
period.
it. It's like,
Yeah. So we honestly don't even know what's going on there. So there's a lot to honestly unpack in that one, but...
Yeah, so... Magic Wolf 60 says... That's why I say a bunch of crybabies. Lol. I'm pretty sure people in 1918 would love to get this vaccine. Yeah.
People are so privileged to be so disconnected from some of the really serious things that we vaccinate against that, yeah, they just don't take these things seriously anymore.
Yeah, and Chaotic Gemini makes a great point. It's like, I wish the lockdowns were put into place better. It was a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of just wasting time. Like,
yeah,
you know, like, and bowing down to corporations. Like, why did small businesses close to stop the spread, but big businesses stayed open to what? stop the spread? Like, I don't understand. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Still being forced to go to work instead of everyone having, like, a universal basic income so that everybody except for absolutely essential workers could stay home, and having more sick benefits and stuff for essential workers so that they would be able to actually take time off work. Like things like that, more paid sick leave so that people don't have to make the decision between do I come to work sick or do I not pay my bills this month?
yeah, so that was the big issue. It's like if
Yeah.
they were just like, hell, if they were even like, you know what, while everything's on lockdown, everyone gets universal basic income until this thing is defeated. Boom. Would have taken like a month.
Yeah, and then that would completely take care of the entire argument of not being able to provide a living for your family.
Yeah.
Well, universal basic income, there you go. Now there's a way that you still have all of your basic needs met for your family until at least we're out of this pandemic and we don't have to worry about whether or not you're vaccinated against specifically COVID anymore. As long as you're still getting your other vaccinations, because goddamn.
Hey, Furby,
What?
go to sleep.
Okay.
All right, I put this third Furby to sleep. No, we gotta be very quiet. Somehow gotta put him down without...
Yeah, if you tilt the Furby at all while you're carrying him, if he's asleep, he'll wake up. And if you tilt him, like, upside down while he's awake or asleep, he'll kind of freak out at you. And he'll be like, whoa, 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 whoa!
Yay! I put him to sleep since the LC was still open. I'm not sure what the LC was, but yeah, there was things still open.
Yeah, like the mall was still open.
Yeah, here, the mall was just like the one moment that you and I went into that bookstore and we literally saw what looked like 1,000 people in the freaking bookstore and like at least 150 people in line. No freaking joke, that many people. I was just like,
yeah, like maybe there wasn't 1,000 people, but basically the bookstore was not.
I'm not exaggerating. It was literally that many people.
But yeah, like the bookstore in the mall is not a small bookstore, and basically, they were lined up from the till all the way. They were lined up from the till like all the way around, down an entire aisle, all the way to the door, and then like turning back around, starting to go back up the aisle again, back towards the till. Like so many freaking people in that line, it was insane.
Yeah, so me from the very beginning, I was just like, well, is this ever going to stop it? And then turns out it didn't.
And I was literally like, okay, this is a lot of people. Let's leave and come back later. Because I basically went to the bookstore first. And then I was like, okay, let's leave and come back later and see if maybe this chills out a little bit. Maybe just everybody decided to come right at opening or something for some reason. Maybe there was like a promotion or a book everyone was trying to be the first to get and there's a limited amount. I don't know. Sometimes there's stuff like that. Like I remember we were at the computer store one day and we're like, why is there this big lineup of people? And it was just because there was some computer chip sale and they were all trying to be the first ones because there was a limited stock. Something like that. So I was like, I don't know, maybe that's the case. So we left, did all of our other shopping, and then came back, which everywhere else was packed too. And then we came back to the bookstore, and the lineup was still equally as long. And it wasn't that it wasn't moving fast. The lineup was moving pretty quickly, but it was still equally as long. So it was like an insane amount of people consistently all day. It was like, what? This was getting around kind of the holiday season, because I was doing like some gift shopping and stuff, but I was like, I'm scared. Why did I choose to do my gift shopping here?
Chaotic Gemini 1 says, or maybe I just say Gemini. The 1 is the I.
Oh, liquor store.
I was working downtown Toronto, close to the Eaton Center. You wouldn't believe the lines. I would believe, actually. From what we saw, I believe.
Yeah.
I believe it. And that's just the crux of the issue. It's like, so how long are we going to basically allow corporations to throw us under the bus? Would be my question. Because they keep doing it. They're like, a bus! Huh! And we're like 100 feet away from the bus, and yet they're still just like ugh!
And then a bunch of people are like, vaccines! Ah! But the bus!
Furby Wizard. Your Furby video must be making the rounds.
Yeah, it seems to still be going around. It's crazy. I wonder how many views it's gotten now. I haven't checked in on it in a while.
That scene from Mean Girls just popped into my head. Which scene?
Oh, which scene?
Which scene?
I love Mean Girls.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I just liked Lindsay Lohan on TikTok.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You told me about that. I still need to go search her up and follow her on TikTok.
I'm like, notice me?
Oh.
Notice me, senpai.
Notice me.
Yeah, me and Sky would like to say hi.
The one where she gets pushed under the bus. Oh, yeah, because we're talking about getting pushed under the bus. That's right.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm just hearing the sound effect in my head now reading that comment.
Mm-hmm.
That comment had a sound effect. And it was the bus wham. Oh.
So we got 2 people, Magic Wolf 60 and Chaotic Gemini.
Yay! Awesome.
Thank you for joining us.
Yay!
We appreciate it.
Yes. Basically.
Yeah, that's why Mean Girls is even relatable to someone like me.
Yeah.
I've been the new kid. That out of place feeling where it's like everyone knows each other and you're just like so alien to the environment. You're just like, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And then all the random crushes you have at that age, you're just like, but anyways.
And I related to it a lot because I was actually born in Germany, like I'm an immigrant, and but actually even more extreme, when I first started school in Canada, I didn't speak any English. So I kind of just had to learn English by being immersed in it and just sort of figure it out. Would not recommend.
Love you too, Magic Wolf 60. Thank you. You're probably leaving, but I appreciate it.
I mean, immersing yourself in a language is like a good way to learn the language. So like I did pick it up, but I mean like starting school, not knowing the language, would not recommend that part. That sucked. If it wasn't for school, like being school, but yeah, and people's ignorance. It took a long time to lose my accent.
Will we all come out with pieces of the crown in the end? We'll see. This is true. This is factual. Oh.
And then we, like, moved a bunch of times as well. So I was, like, the new kid quite a few times before high school. And then for high school, I stayed throughout most of high school, except for grade 12. For the first semester of grade 12, I tried to go to another school until I got expelled and went back into my old school and graduated with the class that I had gone to school with for... Hey, how's it going?
Would you rather live for another 100 years or live the best days of your life, but only for 10 years?
What, can't you live, like, the whole bunch of, like, great days in the 100 years? Is it, like, guaranteed that the 100 years that you live are gonna be shit?
Yeah. Because, like, yeah.
You can do a lot more living in 100 years than 10 years, so, I mean, is it just okay that 10 years is guaranteed good, but is the 100 years guaranteed to be not good?
I'm not sure. Do they have a further clarification? 100 years. No. I guess I would say that the human experience is all about the good and the bad. So if you accelerated the time and rushed through it like the movie Click, you would probably miss some important aspects and then you'd die. And not having enough time to sort of process it Whereas if you've got the 100 years, life comes at a slow drip and you have a chance to really appreciate it and think about it and process it and hold it and behold it and get older and be nostalgic for it. And there's so much you could get from that time that if you rushed through it and then you were dead, you just wouldn't get. So no, 100 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Take all the good and the bad.
I agree with that.
I was the fat kid growing up. School was just not it. Like, can we honestly try and see how many mental health issues developed through trauma throughout school? Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. So many. Like,
my God.
School's just a breeding ground for mental health issues. Like, I remember going
people
to...
are assholes. Oh my God.
They're such jerks. And I remember, like, where school ruined me, it was like, I think I was in grade 2, and I wore my favorite outfit. It was like this red, like, sweater and like a red bow tie and like these nice pants and a fancy belt, and I had my shirt all tucked in, and I felt particularly fancy, and I loved the way that I looked, and I went to school, and when I was standing in line to get into school, it was winter time, and a bunch of hockey players came up, and we're all like lined up with our backpacks and our, you know, and our hope in our eyes. And a bunch of bullies came over and with hockey sticks proceeded to shot icy slush at us like a firing squad. And all we could do as my entire class was practically executed by the slush as we were covered with icy slush, screaming like, "Oh my God, what's happening?" And they're like, "Ha ha," and they're just laughing and hitting us, and we're all just getting pelted, and we're crying and sad, and we're all climbing into the classroom. And then we don't tell the teachers because we're kids. We just take the trauma, and then we just have to do a test that day. Oh. I just like... You know, and then the pine cone wars that proceeded afterwards, where, you know, you're just wandering around in the forest, and all of a sudden it'd be like Vietnam, where it's just, you know, all you and your friends would just get hit by these pine cones out of nowhere by like the oldest kids in school, and they're just like, get up, blah, blah, blah. And it was just like sheer chaos and violence at recess for the first 4 to 5 years of existence. And I remember kind of going, we need to band together. We need tribes, and we need like bodyguards and reinforcements, and like there was times where we like carried around sticks. We were the kids that would get sticks banned, but it was self-defense, dude. From what was going on with those bullies, the teachers weren't doing anything.
Yeah, they never punished the bullies, but then as soon as you retaliate against the bullies, they immediately fucking punish you for defending yourself against the bullies. Like, yeah, my bullies would never get in trouble. The amount of fucking detention and threats of suspension and expulsion that I'd had because of retaliating or defending myself against bullies, even when they were trying to beat me up. My God. Our fucking school systems. Oh. And now I hear that my little sister going through the same school that I went to is still dealing with, like, the teachers not letting them go to the bathroom during class, and then not letting them go to the bathroom during the breaks because only 2 people are allowed at a time. What the fuck?
For me, one of the worst was teachers. I went to the same school as both of my older sisters. 3rd grade, I was called my sister's name despite me begging the teacher to stop. Well, that's mean. It's like you don't even exist. That's fucked up. That, like, yeah, that it's like keep being mistaken for. Oh God.
Yeah,
that makes me so mad.
Like,
it's like people got no better time. Nothing better to do.
Some people get into teaching because they actually genuinely care about the future generation and want to, like, inspire people and help and whatever. Other people just get into teaching because the job of Satan was already taken, I swear. Like, they just want to torture children, and, like, I don't know what went wrong in your life that you feel the need to treat kids badly, but yeah, and I'm really sad to hear that like a lot of the same that like some of the same treatment with like bullies not totally being taken seriously and teachers being on weird power trips about you going to the freaking bathroom is still continuing for my little sister, and they can't fucking use COVID as an excuse because that shit was going on when I was in elementary school.
And I think I think both could probably be going on where like, yeah, some of the bullies certainly ended up in jail, that's for freaking sure. Some of them ended up in high paying fucking managerial positions and like your bosses and just like the jerks that were in charge of minimum wage workers at like Tim Hortons and McDonald's and stuff like that. That's where the bullies went to, because I had to deal with a lot of bullies post school out there in the real world that were in positions of power all the freaking time. I've got countless stories of dealing with managers at McDonald's and stuff like that, and realizing that they were doing wage theft and like recognizing that they weren't actually giving anyone's raises and it was all just a big lie. And oh man,
being ableist jerks.
I could talk about it forever.
Paying me less money than Steo for the exact same job when we had similar amounts of experience, as if we wouldn't fucking know. We lived together, and they knew that from the job interview, and they even told us right from the job interview how much money we were gonna get paid. And I'm like, and they knew, basically, they were relying on the fact that we couldn't afford to not get the job, and nobody else would even call us back at the time. Yeah. So they got away with paying me less money an hour than Steo.
Yeah, so I think both is happening. I think, yeah, it's like some of them become criminals. It just really depends on how their mind works. And some people that are just total jerks are like, oh, you'd be perfect to manage people. People scared the crap out of you.
Yeah, it was like 10 cents an hour. I think you got paid 10 cents an hour more than me.
Yeah, and mental health issues in Canada haven't been invested in since like the 70s or 80s or something like that. Like, show me a mental health facility that's opened up. I'll wait. Or any facility. We were 2 years in COVID. Where's the hospitals? Where's the extra beds? Yeah. What have they been doing for 2 years?
Oh, but Trudeau did invest billions more into our military budget on top of the billions that it already had. Like, just increased the military budget. But we can't increase the healthcare budget.
War's a racket. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say about that. There's people like the only reason that war exists is because someone's making the dough. Well, we are still consistently getting 3 people, so that's pretty cool.
Yay!
I've heard of teens going to jail because of mental health failed them, and the courts had no other option. Absolutely, yeah.
And in a lot of cases, like, police are not fucking trained to deal with mental health cases. Like, they are not mental health professionals, so it honestly shouldn't be their job to be called when there's a mental health crisis.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of rethinking we got to do, and a lot of restructuring, and new jobs we probably have to create, and new functions and whatever. But society's been running on autopilot for 40 years. This is the result of that. So now that we've thoroughly explored not doing anything, maybe we can do stuff now.
Yeah, but so far, all the convoy's just asking, but let's just do nothing. Let's just sit back and do nothing. And on top of doing nothing, replace all of our elected officials from their lawful positions. Let's take them out and of their positions in government, and replace them with what? We're not all gonna get a vote on who they're replaced with. We're not even gonna get a vote on any of this, on any of it at all. Like, what happened to the right to vote? Yeah.
Yeah, they certainly seem to be assessing a lot. And you had a breakdown at 14 and cops were called to the hospital, not the paramedics. Man. Yeah. So yeah. And that's not traumatizing.
Yeah, cops should not have been called in that situation.
I mean, paramedics are traumatizing enough.
Yeah, and there's so much evidence of, like, cops only making the situation worse when they're called on someone that really just needs, like, a mental health professional.
Yeah.
Not someone with a gun.
Yeah, and it's like with those cops wandering around and just kind of like assessing stuff. The reason, I think the main, like I said earlier, the main reason why the response is different is every single time they tried to do something, they would scream, "We've got kids in there! You're taking that gas away from generators from kids! Do you want to hurt the kids?" And it's just like, and then the cops are like, "Well, fuck, well, no, we don't."
Well, why the fuck are you letting your children sleep in vehicles outside when you have homes you could go to?
So anyway, that's
Yeah.
like, that I think is the main reason of why they're just wandering around and
Your
assessing
own
all the
kids at
time.
risk.
Is because they wander around and they're like, this is a logistical nightmare. We're going to get sued. These people might have money.
It's
oh
like
my
they're
God.
using their own kids as shields and using projection that it's the other side that's trying to hurt their kids, but they're the ones putting their own kids in harm's way by putting them into environments they shouldn't be in. They shouldn't be sleeping in vehicles in the winter.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. And not when these people have the option of having a home that they can go back to. Like, they're not homeless people. They have other options. They're choosing. They are making the choice to have their children sleep in vehicles outside. And I don't think that choice of putting their children in harm's way into an unsafe environment like that is not suitable for children I don't think that should be without consequences. Like, you made that choice, but you don't get the freedom of consequences of your actions.
Not my reason.
Cops are getting paid to walk around and do nothing with the truckers. Yeah, all of the lives I've seen, basically, like, at the front of most of those roads, there's cops helping block off the roads. That's so confused. Why?
Doesn't that remind you of when we were watching the January 6th insurrection in the States?
Where it would look like they're just helping the protesters.
Yeah, at the very beginning, they were just like, they opened up the gates, they're like, "Come on in," and it was like, what?
Yeah.
And it's a weird anomaly with these events. I think the logic is there's so many people, we need to open this up, otherwise people are going to get hurt. It's like an inverse logic.
Yeah, so the message is being sent, I guess, so what, you just need big enough numbers to be allowed to have democracy?
And scariness.
And force? Yeah.
Yeah. And skin color. Your skin tone has to be a very particular shade.
That's like the most important. Fuck.
Hate to bring that one up, but it does play.
You're right.
It unfortunately plays a role.
You're right.
Wow. Hello.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I need a moment. I'll be right back.
Need a moment? Okay.
Yeah. Coffee
right.
went through me.
I'll try and take over for a little bit. Oh. We'll go in shifts, and then I'll take a break after you come back. Oh.
You already took a break.
Huh?
I said you already took a break.
I started before you get home?
I'm joking. I'm just being mean.
Well, thank you. You're silly.
This is me being mean. And scene.
You're cute. Oh, someone's inviting me to go live together? I've never actually done the, like, live do. I'm nervous. I'm anxious. I don't know. Oh, they left. I didn't respond fast enough. Okay. Yeah, I've never done, like, the live duet thing before. I'm nervous. I have social anxiety. But yeah, like, feel free to keep talking to me through the comments and stuff like that. Yeah, I guess it's a little bit confusing when it gives you like 5 seconds to respond to the request. It gives you no time to like think about it, like emotionally prepare or anything, and then people just leave leave instantly right out, like, request to go live, and then I don't respond fast enough, and then, like, instantly leave, and then I'm like, okay. Like, yeah. What's gonna happen if I actually accept one of the live duet requests? I don't know. I was traumatized by, like, Omegle and stuff back in the day, so I'm a little anxious to get back into just accepting live video feed requests from strangers for the live things, but I guess it's TikTok, but also, yeah, traumatized. Oh. Personally, a lot of my friends in Ottawa are Muslim. I will say many are white passing though. Yeah, like I'm not trying to say that like the entire like that there's no people of color at all in the entire group whatsoever. But just that there's a very different overall kind of majority demographic and political leaning of the goals between this versus, say, Black Lives Matter or many of the Indigenous protests. The random shit you have pop up on Omegle, oh my god, yeah. It is... oh my god. Yeah, you'd usually have to, like, panic end video to, like, go to the next one so many times, like, at least 10 different times before you'd find, like, one person that you could actually, like, have a conversation with. And then the amount of times that it turned out to just be, like, people that were just trying to, like, hit on you in very uncomfortable ways, even after learning that you were underage and still going on the site, even though you really shouldn't have been. And it's like, oh, why did I do that to myself? Why did I do that to myself? Fucking Omegle. Why? How's it going? How's everyone doing? Oh. Well, does anybody else have any comments or anything to add? Ask ingrained in me from Omegle. Oh, the ASL thing, yeah. Learning sign language. Oh yeah, I auto-correcting ASL to ask. My phone always corrects if to I'd. Like I comma D. Like I would. Like I'd do this. And it's like, why? That grammatically makes 0 sense for the sentence that I've been spelling this entire time. Why does it keep correcting if to I'd? Oh god. Yeah, I saw a TikTok recently that reminded me of the whole ASL thing, and I was like, oh no, that brought back some memories that I understand why my brain forgot about those. Yeah. Oh god. Yeah, so I'm just like scared to accept like a random TikTok live and have it be the Omegle experience. I think that's my anxiety. I think that's where my anxiety lies, is like 9 times out of 10 on Omegle it was like, oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 no. I have an old phone from a friend, and my autocorrect is struggling with multiple typing styles. Oh, yeah. Yeah, your phone, like, gets used to your typing style over time. And I noticed it even before I, like, learned that I'm pretty sure it's, like, a confirmed fact that your phone does, like, learn your typing style over time. But, like, it starts out pretty difficult to use the phone, and then it, like, gets gradually easier over time, because it starts to, like, learn, like, your keystrokes and shit like that, so that it's, like, easier for you to use, but then that's why it's, like, so difficult and weird and awkward suddenly to try and type on anyone else's phones, because their keystrokes are, like, different, and it's used to theirs or some shit like that, yeah. Oh, it's so trippy. Oh. And it's so annoying when it's like I have like one letter in the word that's wrong, but then it tries to like autocorrect the entire word to something that like is completely different, and I'm just like, how did you get that? But not what it actually is. I got like one letter wrong. Like, the autocorrect's so fucking weird. Oh, it's such a pain. It's a setting you can turn off. Oh, huh. Send info to the developer things. Oh, that makes sense. Oof, I might need to try, like, go making some food soon. Where did... I had some chips earlier. I'm just gonna go grab the chips real quick here. I need snacks. Fueled by snacks. Well, I think we've gone over quite a lot of good points. I'm having a hard time thinking of any more kind of new stuff that like we haven't gone over yet. Hello, how's it going? I've been talking for a really long time, so I'm just having some snacks now. What should I talk about next? Hello. I'm running out of ideas on, like, different topics to talk about on this convoy thing that I haven't, like, kind of already covered. Have much of a C squad? Let's see. I've got, like, where's the octopus? I've got, like, a little octopus in the corner down here. He's, like, way back. He's okay. But I don't have too many of the, like, sea animals. I've been wanting to get, like, an axolotl one, and I've been having such a hard time. Like, I haven't been able to find an axolotl anywhere. And then I got my little sister a mystery Squishmallow bag for Christmas, and it had the axolotl that I wanted. Oh. But she loves it, so... Opal? Well, you're better at remembering their names than I am. I just call most of them Squish. I'm really bad with names, so I pretty much just kind of call all them different variations of Squish. Like, Baby Yoda Squish, Hello Kitty Squish, my little shark Squish, my giraffe Squish. This is my non-binary Squish because... I think their name was Hudson. Their tag, they came with they, them pronouns, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I got Dragon Squish, other Dragon Squish, Hello Kitty Squish wearing a snorkel. Or, snorkel. Goggles. Or I guess it could also be a face shield. It's the COVID Hello Kitty. Raccoon squish. Gotta put them all in hammocks. Oh my god, yeah, I really want to get some hammocks to, like, do that cute thing where you have a whole bunch of squishmallows hanging in a little hammock from the ceiling. I think that's adorable. I love it. Used to have Juniper, the non-binary donkey, but did a trade. I love the non-binary squish. Oh, yeah! Yeah, the only other non-binary squish that I've been able to find so far is a little earth non-binary squish, but they look like the earth, but I think they're in the living room right now. See, I just call all my squishmallows just varying forms of squish. First squish was a dragon backpack, and I became obsessed. Oh my god. Yeah, this year was, or actually, technically, my very, very first squish was, Steo actually got me this cute little zombie guy before I even, like, really knew about squishmallows, or, like, knew what this guy was, and I was like, oh my god, it's so cute. And I was like, oh my god, it's so fuzzy, yeah. And it's like a little keychain, and I love the, like, little zombie aesthetic, because, like, I love the Halloween aesthetic, so it's like, little zombie, it's so cute. And then, when I first kind of learned about squishmallows, I found this dragon squish, and then I really became obsessed, and from then it was like, every time we went out grocery shopping, I was like, look for squishmallows at the same time and maybe get one? So many grocery trips have been accompanied by also getting the squishmallow ever since. I just love them so much. They're so soft and they're so squishy. And they're just so cute. I love their little faces. Space Squad Squish? I need to look into these Space Squad Squish. That sounds adorable. I also need to chill collecting. I know, I've been like, okay, I need to, like, chill out, and it's just one that I, like, really, really, really want, because I'm spending a lot of money on squishmallows, but they're so cute! They're just so cute. Oh, hello, a couple people just joined. How's it going? I've been talking about a few different topics now. I've kind of gone a little off topic from the original, like, convoy thing that I started with, but I think everybody else suddenly left as soon as I said that. Okay. I was like, anybody else got anything to say, like, on the convoy topic? Since that was kind of the topic that this whole live, like, originally started off with, but I'm just, like, all over the place now. Used to try to and keep when shoppers had them on sale, but now can't find them in my tiny town. Aww! Yeah, I found the Dragon Squishmallow at Superstore, and then, they had them for, like, a little bit, and then I couldn't find Squishmallows again for, like, a year, and then finally I found this guy, and, like, a couple of these, like, small ones. I'm just trying not to hold them with my chip hand, so I don't get them dirty. And I found a couple of those guys at Superstore recently, so after, like, a year of not having Squishmallows in stock, they finally got a couple more. Yay! Oh. Hello, how's everyone doing? Well, I think, I'm starting to run out of really ideas to kind of talk about. 0 out of 10 recommend Facebook squish groups. Unfortunately, very toxic, but keep in person buying them. Aw, well, that's unfortunate. I haven't tried the Facebook squish groups, but that's good to know. Yeah, unfortunately, I've heard a lot of bad things about people that have been buying them just to resell them for a profit. So that really sucks. And then they're kind of making it really hard for everybody else to get Squishmallows that just genuinely loves them and just wants to, like, collect Squishmallows. Costco's been a good place to get Squishmallows. I think Costco is, like, the cheapest place I know of to get Squishmallows right now. But yeah, just unfortunately you need a Costco card, so I always get my mom to buy Squishmallows for me whenever she goes to Costco, because she has a Costco card. Yeah, the price of Squishmallows have been going up like crazy because of all the people, like, buying them just to resell them and stuff like that. And sometimes I'm worried when I go shopping that I look like a reseller or something, and I'm like, oh no, please don't look at me like I'm like a reseller, or like judge me or something. Like, I swear that I just really love Squishmallows, and a lot of the ones that I buy, I also gift to my little sister as well. She's only 8, and she loves Squishmallows. Like, she's like the one person I know that loves Squishmallows even more than I do. Like, she was so happy when I got her a giant Squishmallow for Christmas, and because she was just 8, it was a whole bed for her, basically. She was so excited. The what? The throat goat? I think you're on the wrong website on that one. Just don't be buying multiples. I have bought multiples a couple of times, but only like doubles, just because sometimes I'll get my little sister the same Squishmallow that I get myself, so they're like buddies, but we like each have one, because sometimes I'm like, oh, this would be a perfect Squishmallow for my little sister, but then I'm like, but I wish you would it. So then I'll get 2. Like, he's kind of buried underneath a few other Squishmallows at the moment, so it'll be a little precarious to try and get him out. But I have, like, a really, really big Squishmallow. It's, like, one of my biggest... I think it's my biggest Squishmallow. I bought 2 of them, because that was the big Squishmallow that I gave to my little sister, and for her, it's a bed. For me, it's a beanbag chair. So, but I got some funny looks when I bought that one, because I had these 2 massive Squishmallows, like each individual one. I like to try and hold it as like it's for comparison, he's a little bit bigger than one of these guys. And then I had like one in each hand, both the same, because I liked the little puppy, and I knew my little sister would like the little puppy. I think I bought, like, 1 or 2... oh, yeah! That was also the same trip that I found this dragon. And what else did I find? I found this dragon and, like, 1 or 2 others, and I just couldn't turn them down, because I was like, but dragons are, like, my favorite! And then the big ones are so big! So I got some funny looks, because I had, like, both arms full of squish, and then Stu had to help me carry a couple, so I was like, oh my gosh, and some of the employees were like kind of staring at me like they're anticipating me to scream at them about the stock, because that's what I've heard anyways, that a lot of the resellers are going and screaming at employees about stock and stuff like that, if they're not restocking fast enough or not restocking the ones they want and whatever, and I'm like, I'm not even actually sure. I don't know what all the squish squads out there are. I just, when I see one in the store that I love, I'm just like, yes. And Steve got me the little shark too, by the way. Steve saw this one in the store for me, and he got me the baby shark. Squish. Nope. Wee. Wee. Well, I guess this live is ending in a little bit more of a positive direction with all the squishy medals. Well, did you want to take back over the live for a little bit?
Oh no, I'm getting pretty tired and
dehydrated.
dehydrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting pretty tired myself.
I'm suffering the effects of dehydration.
And I'm running out of... I think we've kind of gone over all of the things that we can think of at the moment.
Yeah, I think I've got enough for the script.
For like, we're gonna work on a more in-depth show where we're gonna do more research into some of the things that were brought up and talked about and debated, so, and then we'll like gather a bunch of sources and video evidence and all that kind of stuff and put everything that we can find together in like a more in-depth video and put that on YouTube. Oh, I haven't checked winners yet. Squish for dogs. Oh, I'll have to check winners. Alright, well, thank you so much for hanging out this long with us and for being an excellent audience.
If anyone wants to follow me, I'm Mr. Steo at mr.steo.
Yeah! Go follow at Mr.Steo and show him some love as well.
I am still shy and building my following, but
yeah, STEO.
I post a lot of video game stuff.
Yeah, a lot of our like Warzone video game footage. My gosh, I'm jumbling all my words now. Yeah, I think I need a little bit of break from speaking.
Well, thanks for
Have
sticking
a good rest
with
of your
us.
day,
That
guys.
was
Thank
awesome.
you. Have a good rest of your day as well.
I've never joined on a live, so.
Yeah, I think he's chimed in the background once or twice, but this is the most you've ever joined me on like a live, like actually like sit down and join me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for joining.
No problem.
I appreciate you adding your opinion.
Yeah. And then the puppets, right?
Yeah.
And of course, the owl will return.
Ah.
Love the owl.
Squee.
Have a good rest of your day.
Ah. Oh.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, I think that was a good live. And yeah, I'm gonna go put the entire live up on my YouTube at skyebleach. Like as soon as I'm able to like save it and all of that. And yeah, maybe I'll try and see if there's like a few good snippets or anything that I can put on my TikTok.
And I'm just posting retro video game stuff right now because I'm sick of Call of Duty Warzone, so I'm reliving all my favorite old games and posting TikToks about it, and yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
I'm basically making TikToks for myself, but it's still fun.
Okay, let's see if I can I like type. Can I type a chat?
Type chat.
How does that? No. I don't know how that works. I guess not. Okay. I was like, can I type in like your name for the spelling? But yeah. Mr.steo. Mr. Steo.
Mr. Steo. Maybe I'll come up with a different name later. Steezytron. The Steezinator. Alright, have a good day.
Have
We
a good
love
day.
you.
Thanks for joining.
Thanks for
Bye.
tuning in. You're the best.
Oh, anyway. Oh, there's the...
Now the awkward endpoint. Awkward endpoint. Oh, how do we boop this thing? Boop,
Bye.
boop, 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 boop.
Oh, I thought I booped it.
Yeah.
Boop.